Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the closing argument. Today is Monday, February 26th, 26th of February. Yes, 2024. We are back on the closing argument again today. Welcome. Lots of news. I hope everybody had a great weekend and everybody's doing well. So good to be back. Quickly, we are live on Truth FM and subscribe. We are also on YouTube. We are also on Hot FM and Real Television Channel 3. And the other guys that joining us soon will all be here tonight to make this an interesting show. So let's get ready for the closing argument but it's good to be back. Well, as I told you guys, tonight will be something that they've been hiding from the people of Liberia, but we finally got it. Concerning this war crimes court establishment, and we're looking forward to playing the interview. The exact interview, not yesterday, from the president himself, what he said. So the president is serious about it, and he's going to follow through with it. And I think everybody's supporting, and so we look forward to having an interesting show tonight. Let me, in the meantime, get some of our supporters, our viewers. Let me recognize Josh Young, watching from Opelika, Alabama, USA. Wow, way down south. Ooh. Oh, UJ Bo, watching from Providence, Rhode Island. What's up, UJ? How's everything going? That's my old place there, though. I lived Providence for almost 12 years. Yeah, Providence, Rhode Island. That's the place to be, though. Yassa Ware, Charles Clark, Wale, Boston, Massachusetts. Oh, my friend and brother, Abraham Connor in New Jersey. And also see Melvie Guy from Iowa, Janelle Monroe from Minnesota, Mark V.Y. Blabby, Des Moines, Iowa. Henry, I want you to come on the set with me. We want to do something quickly while waiting for the guys in the first few minutes. Henry Jala. James A. Kuyate Jr., Russell Dasso Teddy from Dubai, Man Jennison from Providence, Henry Jala. Oh, Henry, come, man. Yes, the video we'll be playing today, that video was leaked. It came from the Senate chat room. Apparently, I don't know, it wasn't meant to be on Facebook or in the public, but we got a closing argument. We get everything, wherever we want to get, we can get it. So we got our video. That's why I'm not being the press, where the president is telling, he is speaking in support of the War and Economic Crimes Court. And one of his major rescue ally, the MRD of the governing chairman, Senator Prince Johnson. He's one of those who have been earmarked to go to face the war crimes court. So, and something that he really didn't want to talk about, but we got it, and we'll be playing it tonight, the interview. So hopefully Liberian people can know that this is serious. The president is serious about the war crime court. And I heard that probably this week he may be announcing it. And maybe the court will be set up in Ghana, here in Accra, Ghana. So we'll see what happens. But I wanted to, Henry Jala, I want you to come, man. Come on the platform. Henry Jala. Henry, can you come on? I'll bring in the platform. Right. Henry Jala.
How are you?
Yeah, what's up, my man? Oh, man, you know you tired, huh? Weekend was rough,
Not ready, man.
huh?
We gotta be here because this is what DJ calls for. So we gotta be here even we are
Yeah, I
tired.
want to take quick 10 calls, right? Quickly, because uh, the question is President Boyka 30 days in office. He had passed the 30 days mark, and they want to know from Liberian people what's the opinion about JMB job he has done so far in a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. What people are saying about JMB 30 days in office in terms of scale of, yeah. So want to know from the USA and also from the diaspora and Liberia. Uh, just to do some random survey to find out how Liberian people view the president's first 30 days in office. Uh, I will tell you what I said about my view about the president 30 days in office. I will tell you at the end of the process. But take some calls. Let's hear from the people of Liberia and the diaspora what they make of President Boyka's 30 days in office.
What's up? That's it. 7701765. Place in your call. Give your own take on President Joseph Boyka or 30 days in office. 7701765. That's the number to call. 077701765. That's the number to call. To the very first caller. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
You getting into money?
I'm super oppressed of I'm calling for the
I hear him, but he's sounding too low.
Yeah, for me, grading JMB, I see nothing in the first 30 days, just wait on.
It's just what? Which one?
Just wait on. Nothing in the first 30 days.
uh, Come here, do some technical adjustment very quick.
Aaron, ask him on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. What would he give the president for the first 30 days?
Come again?
Ask him with on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. What would he?
Oh,
What would he give the president for his first 30 days?
okay, so he should rate it right from
Yeah,
1 to 10.
yeah,
Okay, 077701765 to this caller. Hello,
Yeah, what even do you got?
how are you? You getting him?
yeah. I can hear him.
Okay, your name from where you join us?
My name is Mohammed Emekan Jio, and I'm still even 15. Especially, when I'm talking with the
Go ahead. What do you make of President Boyka first 30 days?
Let me for this thing to the team on the Council or Benjamin Sanvee and the people out there on all that. Let me say, you know, for me, I think as you applaud President Boyka for his leadership role that he taking forward the country, I think today Monday make the President Boyka within your or 1 month fully old for now. Okay, I think what I see for now is about taking forward the drug situation by Israel Kuma, because we've seen the way in which Mr. Kuma is going from
Yeah, 30 seconds just to conclude from 1 to 10. Why will you rate it? At what number?
For me, I'm going to grade President Barack Obama in the first place. I'm going to grade him 95%. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 7701765. Please, when you call, to the point, and 1 minute will not pass 1 minute, please, because other people have to call 077701765.
You frozen. All right, Aaron frozen.
I don't see anything around people running behind.
You are frozen.
Other party to take their job now. I can see.
From 1 to 10, at what number will you rate it to?
You'll be at it 9, please.
9?
Yeah.
Okay. 077701765. That's the number to call, and they're gonna be live. To this caller, hello.
How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing okay, though, boss man.
We see laws being broken. People are after people for turning positions. I mean, that's what we see, people living from one ministry to another. This is what we're seeing. I mean, it is glaring. We're seeing the armed forces there not being celebrated. That's what we're witnessing. People are fighting for jobs. Even though we've been told that there will be jobs in the private sector, why are they all fighting to go to the governmental sector? So who's going to do the job in the private sector? So that's what we're witnessing. We're seeing these things happening. All right? And who are not to be confirmed, be confirmed. We see the government asking for the 1 million. If it is not confirmed, the government will shut down. I mean, these are things we're witnessing.
Okay, so from 1 to 10, at what number will you grade it to?
You say from 1 to 10?
Yeah.
I think it's 10.
Exact 10.
Yeah, 10.
What's going on? Oh, look at this. The guys having some trouble, technical difficulties. Aaron, you can come back.
Okay, thank you very much. This is Sam here, and I'm phoning from a looking down resident tonight.
Okay, Sam, go ahead. 1 minute, please.
I think we are seeing a lot of negative things in the first 30 days in office. We are seeing Labrador not be represented when it comes to regional meetings and what have you, because we expected the president to have a meeting. During the Edward meeting, we did not see our president, so negatively, I think our representation will not fail. We are seeing an issue that has to do with breaking the law of this country. People that are serving tenure position, we see zero officers was a federal tenure areas, laws every day. You see people who claim to be a supporter of the Unity Party, the other ministers and agencies. We saw that at the level of NAFTA, we saw that at the level of the EPA. So these are things that we are saying. We are saying where the president will appoint somebody in a damn minute and say, oh, I don't know that person and what have you. So negatively, we are not saying anything positively when it comes to the country. We are saying where the president asked for the 1 million. Without even clearly stating the budget line where that money will be used. These are things we are seeing.
Okay, from 1 to 10, at what number will you grade it to?
Oh, I'm giving negative 1.
-1, wow.
Negative 1. Thank you.
077701765 is the number to call, and then you're going to be live. To our online viewers, the WhatsApp number is there, +231 777701765. You can also use that number, and then you're going to be live. To this caller, hello.
Hi, man.
I'm doing okay, and you?
Some MP calling from GSA.
Okay, Samba, go ahead.
I would like to give thanks to the president because in fight one morning office, at least the drug raise our account down small, coming down small in the city. So I would like to give the president 10%. You know?
I'm getting you. You love to get the president 10% because the drug issue trying to seize down, right?
Yes.
From 1 to 10, at what number will you grade?
You said from 1 to 10?
Yeah, from 1 to 10.
Yeah, I gave it 10.
Exact 10.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. 077701765. We'll take just 5 more callers, and then we'll turn back to the panelist. To this caller. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, my name is Paco calling from Kingsville.
Okay, 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yes, since the beginning of this Baka government, where I'm seeing some negative things. Since by 2018, some of this, the documented road construction was ongoing. The medical hospital was ongoing, but we are not seeing anything like that. The appointment has been very slow. They have been no confusion. When a person might withdraw his nomination, so I'm not seeing any possibility going on actually.
You're not seeing a positive thing. For someone said a draws issue.
Yeah, the drug issue at the beginning we are seeing, I hope we will continue like that.
Okay.
So when you say, as we go here at
TDO 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I got a caller. Hold on. Go ahead, caller. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Razo Dazo. I call from the United Arab Emirates, Dubai. We're seeing that in Joseph Boga, first 30 days, they have been able to finalize their appointment in government. They are top official in government. Up to now, they have not even gone to the Senate for confirmation hearing. They have been read my role in so many things. We saw the ECOWAS Parliament over the weekend. Joseph Boga did not attend, and that's a top security issue that has to do with the region. And there are so many lapses, not to take much of the time. I'm going to grade 2 out of 10. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, keep taking calls.
To this caller. Hello.
Yeah, my name is Lofty Polly. I'm calling from Chicago Factory.
Okay, Lofty. Go ahead.
Yes, I graded for this parliament 0.
What's your take on the first 30 working days?
I grade at 0.
0.
Yeah, because no country means the sponsor, no foreign, no foreign, no be feeling outside in darkness.
But someone said the drugs issue. The president trying to fight drugs.
No, we grade every cover.
But I only Virginia. I ain't head.
I mean, let the people get up there green. Let the people free. Let the people be free to.
Okay, yeah, that's the view. You're not
the view. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 770-17635. You get the president 0? Huh. To this caller. Hello.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm Austin. I'm calling from Tomalin district.
Okay, Austin. Go ahead, 1 minute, please.
Yeah, actually, I created the paper 8 or 10 because of the leadership structure. President will start for transparency in leadership, where he said that all the ministerial position will start a concession agreement that is welcoming. And
Okay.
also the church issue that every command is 40 and then the church test that we take the lead and he is saying he was tested. So I will create the paper for it because structuring is the leadership. And then before you go to the meeting, say casting only for a 90 days that we prepare like people that there will be a testable and rule in the period and country.
Okay.
So I wish power to him.
Thank
so
you.
We are waiting for, we just start for this is about creating a family creating with a test card will create group for me again get what thing.
Okay, thank you so much. 770-17635 will take just 4 more corners, and then we'll turn back to the panelists. To this caller. Hello.
Yeah, hello, I do it.
You have the background from the radio.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Your name from where you joining us?
I'm Jackson. I'm
Okay, Jackson, 1 minute. Go ahead.
yeah, the innovation sector.
We're not getting you. We're not getting you. You're coming in broken.
Yeah.
No, we are not getting you. You have to call back, please. 077701765. That's in the mother call. To this caller. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Go ahead. Your name from where you join us?
This is Abakimogaya in LPRC.
Okay, Albert, 1 minute.
think looking at the performance of the government against the government, 10 over 10.
10 over 10.
Because I've seen some form of integrity into the government, and I'm looking at the drugs issue that have been seriously fought, because other people were thinking we want push, but then we have someone to kick away the drugs, and at least there's some stability in the petroleum price. It's not fluctuating up and down. So against the government, 10 over 10. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We take 2 more and then we turn back. 000017635. To this caller. Hello? No, you have to dress away from the radio or you lower the radio.
Hello?
How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing okay. Your name from where you join us?
I'm Patricia calling from Brazil.
Okay, Patricia, go ahead.
Yeah, when they call me, I really didn't call me 0 over
0 or 0?
Yes, 0.
Why?
Because people who see no change. No change because they said they come and rescue and it's over. We're really talking about church because there is so much. The church, they're talking about church. We're not doing that. What is to take if you work? We are going 0 over 0. Thank you.
Okay. 000017635. To this caller. Hello?
Hello?
How are you?
I'm okay.
Your name from where you join us?
Abraham Kamara from Brazil.
Okay, Abraham, go ahead 1 minute.
Okay. I also thank you for the program. But I agree, I'm going 9 over 10.
9 over 10. Why?
The reason, this government is a responsible government. So, for the level of responsibility that the government is trying to take, and the government also get listening ear to listen to the public. For the government, listen to the armed forces women and went to protest because they were not certified of the chief of staff and the defense minister and his business. Number 2, because the government tolerant. For example, if the government official who is in the government with even a fear of class reloaded, is not being fear of being fired by the government. There's one level of tolerance that's in the government. Unlike the federal government, that we appear on a station that is not pushing the message of the government, immediately be fired. So this government, I agree with my government, 9 over 10 for every packing jobs, and for the person taking the lead, and for the person appointing competent and qualified people in the government administration agencies.
Okay, thank you. 9 over 10. 770-17635.
Yeah, we got 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes for that. Take 3 or 2 more calls. Yeah.
Okay.
3 more calls quickly.
To this caller. How are you?
Yeah, how about
From where you join us?
Yeah, calling you from Bonavant. Omega Community.
What's your name?
Nancy David.
Okay, Nancy, go ahead 1 minute.
Yeah, for me, I see so hatred taking all the country for the Georgia Baga coming.
Wow.
Hatred. Because I just see people hunting people all over. So nothing better. They just ready to talk in West. So me and I see no change. They draw the talk, but we see nothing here.
Wow.
They want to see nothing. Children school fee nothing. They got relatively dancing fast. So I see no difference. So the Georgia government will 100 times better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
077017635. We'll take just 2 more. 077017635 is the number to call. To this caller. Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
How are you, sir?
Richie, I'm calling you from District 17.
District number 17.
Yeah.
Go ahead, 1 minute.
If I green this government, I can't green this government right now. I say maybe 1 more or 2 more parts again. Because I just did a fiasco. The men arresting the people from job where they carry them, nobody know. So I regret somebody when you're arresting people for jobs, the job, nobody know where they carry what they arrest the fee, what they carry. And somebody told me that I be criminal their corruption. It's not small, they children and business. So in their corruption business. And you can just see the people you get a trust, you get a court. As soon as you hear it, wrong, motor by organizing, we hear about it. So I didn't create a government, nothing. We something for a place. People are appointing people taking people, they taking people leave from there, carrying them all the star, and the president.
We lost that cutter. 077701765. Who's gonna be the last?
Yeah.
To this caller. Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
How are you?
Yeah.
Your name from where you join us?
Tokyo.
Where you joining us from? Your name from where you join us?
Yeah, my name is Marilyn Tapia.
Okay, Madeline.
Calling on District 10.
All right. How's District 10?
I would never think you yet.
Okay, go ahead. 1 minute.
For me, I created the government 1/10.
Why?
I gave them 1 because based on the people are really people are making checking over them. Whenever the president will be like looking at the position, he appointed people together. He appointed people based on their qualification. The right now, most of them have 50 chances. Hopefully, right now, especially the things that you say you're going to do much. I just said the era, people because the people stay doing more jobs. Yes, especially for rice and other things. Nothing yet, so it is a little improve. Again, the one because the employing the people work according to quality. So that very expected way.
So you think that's not the best way to give people work according to their qualification?
Yes,
Man, don't answer people when people talk. You gotta tell
Okay.
them.
Give
Okay,
the opinion, man.
let's end the show. Let's start the show.
So that expected them to themselves to work because they say that they could support the economy yet. He disappointed them in giving tools. People are qualified. I was getting a 1 for, but the other one he had to work on how to see any equipment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That's it. We have to call it.
Yeah,
We have to put it on and then turn back to the team.
President Boga he just hit the first 30-day mark in his office, and we were asked today to do all these quick random phone calls. People to give their assessment about the president's first 30 days, and so far we have 15 callers, and seven in favor of the president and 8 against him. And what I noticed that most of the women against him more. I don't know why, but women that's called, they're the one who are the main ones who are against the president, talking about the electricity, the price of rice being $3,500 a bag, Liberian dollars. They're concerned about the electricity situation, that the heat, and then some people praising for the drugs issue, leadership wise, the cabinet he appointed and so forth. But quickly, guys, welcome again. And let me just give our quick 1 minute about this president 30 days in office, and as we listen to the callers, where your assessment by it. Peabody, you can hit, and Peabody, and Robert and Grace, we can get it going.
Ultimately, man, good to see everybody on this afternoon, everybody. Let me say here that the president's first 30 days, there are some things that I'm going to say that he's done that I was, firstly, applaud him. I like the fact that he have had some press conferences. He have met, the media team have done some work in informing us what the activity, even though they have been a mess at times, lying about the president's trip to Ghana, who he was going to meet with, and all of that. But I think there have been some basic governance protocol that have been put in place. On the other hand, 2 important meetings the president failed to attend: the AU meeting, the meeting in Abuja this weekend. The president wasn't able to attend this meeting. No reason was given. Our vice president was not even tapped to go and represent the country. So Liberia failed to form part of those meetings. And also appointment in government. With the first 30 days, the president had failed. One of those things in breaking the law, especially when it comes to the tenure position. His team is going to people's office and trying to intimidate those in tenure position and try to remove them. I think he failed miserably in that area. But I mean, so far, I think that's my evaluation of the first 30 days.
So, like, before I go to Pee Wee, what on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you say?
I would say a 4.
A 4?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, okay. Pee Wee, tell me, everybody.
Say wow. A wonderful wavelength of folk. I think I will. I've been looking at it, and I just deeply wanted to wait up to the 100 days. But yes, we will do an evaluation within the 30 days. Looking at the structure of the states, I believe that the structure of the states currently, in terms of the organization, the rest of it is not that we expected. Because with the wealth of experience, coming with close to 5 decades of political experience and governance experience, the structure of the states in terms of the way situation is currently unfolding, it is not as satisfactory as we expected on a more serious note. In terms of reconciliation, if you were to move back and a president that said he will reconcile the country in terms of reconciliation, currently certain individuals are now being heavily targeted, particularly those in the opposition and those that are in turning positions. You can't come in the country that you want to push to reconcile, and then you push him to target and marginalize certain group of people because they did not believe in your political ideological thinking, or they didn't support your side. It's quite unfortunate. So in terms of reconciliation, I will give the president, if not D minus in terms of reconciliation. Moving to the process about our foreign policy mechanism. Currently, for the first 30 days, I think the president failed the foreign policy process. The fact that he did not move into the AU to be part of his first AU process, and that of the ECOWAS issue, it is not a good sign to see our country, because we are part of the Committee of Nations. We are not only part of the Committee of Nations, we are funding member of most of those international organizations, right? Like the UN, the AU, the very AU. We are funding member of the AU. You can recall the Secretary, our own president, whether via Stockman and that of Kwame Nkrumah. Those are vision bearer of the AU, came about the African Union today. I mean, so today, Sankle is bearing the first thought, where the thought process about bringing the AU out. So in terms of the foreign policy issues, it's not a good thing. Also, what I'm hearing is that the punch of the security line in the country is not as good, because we've been hearing about people from different quarters of the city. There's this, I don't want to call it homicide, or because that is not tantamount to suicide. If it's not tantamount to suicide, then the forensic team from the Liberia National Police or other top thinkers, law enforcement thinkers, will come and say to all it's unfolding. So in terms of that, also, it's not a very good sign for it. The structure of as I said, quickly, if I can land on this, if I was going to it holistically, I think I will give the president the same 4/10 in terms of his first performance in the 30 days now. The structure of the state of the government, if you will, most of those ministry and agencies don't even have personnel deployed in terms of appointment. They have not yet been confirmed. So a lot of them, even the foreign ministry, only the Minister of Foreign Affairs is confirmed. Only the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Foreign is confirmed. All of the rest of the deputies and the rest of them, no. We don't even have a chief spokesperson of the government. No. We don't have chief of protocol of the Republic of Liberia. No. We don't have chief of protocol executive marshal. No. So I will give the president 4/10. I think he will have to double up and move according to the expectation of the people of Liberia.
Wow. Robert Gagwa Jr.
Thank you. Great to be back on. And it's good to see you guys. The lady, Grace. But Tomalin, I think that you have to put in perspective the first 30 days of this government, and there are things that comes to mind with regards to this scores. Like, how do you rate them, right? I want to ask this question. It's a rhetorical question, but maybe we can think about this. What is the most single thing that President JNB has done that has send a message out to all Liberians, those who voted for him and those who did not, or the world for that matter, to say that we understand or we have an idea of the kind of leader Joseph Walker will be. We understand his priorities, things that he tends to prioritize, what he wants to address. Uh, uh, and I don't know about you guys, but I have not seen that. I don't know his style of leadership. I don't know what he tends to do. I don't know what his priorities are. We don't know what's happening right now, right? So on the issue of, I think on the campaign trail, one of the things that they that got them elected was that George Weah came to government unprepared. That George Weah was not prepared. He did not know what he was doing. In the first 30 days of this government, can we as Liberians objectively all of what we've seen so far, can we say that Joseph Barker administration came into power, came into government on day one more prepared than his predecessors, than the former president, right? And to answer that question from my perspective, is a resounding no. So on preparedness, he failed. On the issue of being ready on day one, which connects to being prepared, can we say that Joseph Walker has hit the ground running, addressing some of these key issues? I think Sylvester pointed out or alluded to reconciliation. When you win an election with a divided country, one of the key things that you have got to do now is to say, look, elections are over, campaign is over, now it's time to govern. I'm your president. I'm not just the president of those who elected me, those who supported me, but I'm your president too. And I'm here to govern, and I'm here to seek and serve your interests. Can Liberians, every Liberians, including Seditians and those who supported, who did not support Joseph Boakai, do they feel that Joseph Boakai is all of us, all of our presidents? So being ready on day one, we talk about the incident that occurred during the inauguration, right? We're talking about how prepared they were, the failures of those on the inaugural team. So on the issue of being ready on day one, they failed. On the issue of transparency, they talked about making a step forward. I will give credit to the the press secretary. I think she's done some phenomenal things as far as these weekly press briefings. But apart from the press briefing, I'm more focused on the substance of the briefings, and I'm more focused on what are some things being said. Have they been transparent? You know, having press briefing every weekly or twice a week is one thing. But what are those things being discussed? What information being put out like this? Have they been transparent with us? I think they fail tremendously on that. We talk about the trip to Ghana. There's been a lot of elementary mistakes with the appointments and names and just information dissemination. They seem to be all over the place. On the issue of messaging, what is Joseph Boakai and Unity Party message? What is that message that we can say the executive mansion is in tune with everyone else underneath them? What is that message? We don't know what the Unity Party message when it comes to governance actually is. And I thought that the Minister of Commerce did a phenomenal job the other day trying to clarify that message. They failed. At the least, on the issue of the respect of the rule of law, can we say that everything that they criticize the past government about the respect of the rule of law and lawlessness, have they exhibited that this government is a responsible government? This government is a government that will respect the laws of our country, will follow the right processes, and we will do the right things legally. Have they done that? I mean, obviously they haven't. I mean, because if they did, they would not have been appointing folks in positions that are terms positions. They would have been doing what they did after the fact, right? Like getting legal advice on these issues, writing the legislature about any potential plan to repeal that law. They have done that. And so based on all of these issues, if I were to grade this government, I'm sorry, I would give them 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 because they have done worse in 1 month. And by the way, civil servants have yet to get paid. They inherited a government with more money in our coffers, right, than the previous government and they were able to pay a civil servant, why have they not been able to pay a civil servant in this month? We're almost nearing the beginning of the next month. So all of these issues, they have failed. And I will only hope that this performance is a motivation for them to do better next month and subsequent months, because we will not be talking about the 100 the 90 days of promises. They have 3 out of 10 is my year for them.
Hey, Grace.
Hello, everyone. Hi to the audience. How you doing? As you can see from the calls that the president first 30 days, the country is still divided. It shows that from the elections, that the way the country was divided, the way Joseph Waga won the elections just on a thin line, the country is still divided from the cause, even if it's 15 persons that call, and you can see that. Of the first 30 days of any government, the government should be able to all meet advisors. That one of the things they're supposed to do. We haven't seen that, in a whole. Some people may think that, it's just the first 30 days. People get paid in 30 days. So when you work for 30 days, you get paid in a month. In this country, sometimes we get paid weekly, sometimes we get paid bi-weekly. So the first 30 days, Joseph Waka is going to get paid. So we have not seen anything substantial that he has done. And his first 30 days, I expected him to set policies, priorities, and also address pressing national issues. He has not addressed any pressing national issues. Before he came on, there was national issues that were presented to the public, like the death of Melvin Early, the editors that died. I mean, he has not even addressed any of those things in his first 30 days, not to say anything to the public that I'm aware of these things happening in the last government, what we are looking forward to doing concerning these things. We have not heard any of that. So, we're still looking to see if he would do it in the next days that are coming that will make him 100 days. But he should have done that in his first 30 days. If he has people advising him, they should be advising him to do that. Okay, so the first 30 days, he promised to declare his assets. He did declare the assets, but he never published it. So he did not declare it at the right time that he said he would. So even as he declared the assets, we don't know whether he had money before he got into power, or whether he added money to his account after he got into power, because he declared after, whereas he should have declared it before he took office. So he failed us on that part as well. He has never spoken about the real ills, as I just stated, in the previous government, and that is happening right now in this government. There's ills that are going on. People are not satisfied. He has yet to come and address the public concerning that. What can he do differently? With everything in his first 30 days, he's supposed to tell the people, this is what I can do differently compared to what the last government did. We have not heard that from him as well. He has not come to reassure the people on his campaign messages, or the messages. That's why I said that they ran the campaign on deception, because he has not come back to reassure the people about what he said he would do, or during his campaign. All the promises he made, there is no reassurance in telling the people. So it's supposed to be done in the first 30 days as well. He has not fostered any unity among the citizens, as everybody has said. The country is very much divided. People are still, hating one another since the campaign time. Some people are still on social media, still running campaign, although the campaign is over, because the president has not come to unify the country and speak to the people that, to make everybody feel inclusive. And we have not seen him actually establish any diplomatic relations, substantial ones for the country. So all these things were supposed to be done in his first 30 days, and none of those things were done. So if I would grade him, I would grade him a 1 in the first 30 days. All the reasons I've spoken, also the most likely his appointment and withdrawals, and the confirmation of people that are not supposed to be confirming my opinion, because there were no check and balances on them. Thank you.
Wow. Well, the president's, usually people grade government for the first 30 days and the first 100 days. That's why it's important. The first 30 days is very important. And on May 1st, President Boga will be 100 days in office. So it's important that we were told to do this today. About his first 30 days. And so far, the country is, he's a little bit behind. We have 15 callers first, and out of 15 callers, majority of the females graded him very, very low. Most of them said 0. And but so it's 7, 8. And then on the panel today, so far, the panel have been very, very conservative to the. I mean, I know I was conservative because I'm in liberal at all, because liberal at least will be a little bit. But so far, they have not minced the words. They have been very, very tough on the president. For me, I would say this: the president, for me, thing issued about the ECOWAS summit. The first thing, the ECOWAS and AU summit, with all explanation, and they are saying that we are missing key opportunities. I think every new president want to attend these important regional meetings, the ECOWAS and the African Union. Right now in Abuja, the SSCs of Africa, West Africa are there right now discussing about regional security. President is a no-show there. Yeah, and the one they were held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the African Union, it was a no-show too. The foreign minister represented him though, but I think he should have been there. He should have about the way he went to Ghana. They were so it was so how to call it. People they didn't understand how he went to Ghana. There were no pictures shown in his trip to Ghana, who he met with. They just get released, but no pictures to see anything. They were concerned about that and so forth. But based on all of that, and then plus the handing of the Minister of Defense and the Army wives protest that led to the Defense Minister resigning, also brought is an issue too. But one of the things that have brought people feeling a little bit, I mean, give the president some leverage is that, and what we're discussing today, this interview with Alan White, and I was told just now that this interview wasn't meant for public consumption, but they came out there, and the president finally gave his approval, his blessing to this War and Economic Crimes Court establishment. From my understanding is that it may not be in Liberia, maybe perhaps in Ghana or so. We don't know, but we'll find out later on. But after that, we'll try. Arthur, you guys get ready to put it. Let's start the interview. Put the interview up so we can listen to it, and then we'll jump in discussing it. But so far, the president, in the first 30 days, his appointments, he appointed some competent people in his government, some good people in the government, to be honest. Some have been controversial and a lot of noise behind it. But again, we are still following the president track as he leads his government. So people have mixed reaction to his first 30 days, and I think there's still work to be done to get before the 100 days mark, May 1st. We hope to see what we'll see from there. Well, him and Jala and Ato, you guys can get the video for us, put it up so we can get it going. What you guys in studio? I mean, you guys can be chiming while we're getting this stuff ready, huh?
Oh yes. I listened to the interview today. One of the I started to go back a little bit because ever since 2003, when we signed the Comprehensive Accra Peace Agreement, we signed.
Is there any way you can just tell a little bit about the interview? Because everybody didn't listen to it.
Okay, the interview basically was the president of the Republic of Liberia giving his consent to Mr. Alan White. You remember, Alan White is the one that was behind the process about it. Chancellor being indicted, and he's currently in jail in The Hague. He was also behind the establishment of the War Crime Court in Sierra Leone that prosecuted Sierra Leoneans and that of our former president. So Alan White been also heavily behind the establishment of a War and Economic Crime Court in our country. So he and the president had what I would refer to as a tete-a-tete. And as too many is saying, probably this was not meant to be out, but the handlers, the way they managed the information, probably came out this way and why. But it's quite unfortunate that this will happen because before, and one of the reasons, so the intent of the interview was actually to get him to go ahead and say, hey, I'm prepared, I'm going to support the establishment of War and Economic Crime Court in Liberia. That's basically what the issue about. And Mr. White is saying to him, he's going to support the president's agenda for that purpose, and he's going to lobby to ensure that the establishment of the war crime is established in there. But part of what I was trying to do a quick throwback is that, Grace, is that when we decided on this process, let me be very frank, this is my own perspective. 2003, we signed the Comprehensive Accra Peace Agreement, ensuring that we come back, we bring the country back to stability after a very devastating civil crisis. Part of what I detested at the time was that we elected former President Charles Taylor. He brought the war in Liberia. We elected him president. We also elected former President Saliv, that openly stated during the TRC hearing that she supported the war in Liberia. We elected her president. We elected Prince Johnson, who is on live TV, gruesomely killing the former president of Liberia. We knew all of these things. We elected a lot of former political warlords, folks that were part of those belligerent forces. Thomas Yaya Nimre correctly, the former head of Model. We elected him currently senator of Grand Jide. Some of their protege, Eddie Snow, the rest of the folks that participated on behalf of NPFL and others were in faction in the country. This message that we sent at the time believed that the Liberian people believe we need to force on. Part of the reason why my thinking is the former President George Weah did not do this, but he was very sensitive to this process. I can recall the Liberian delegation at the United Nations when the president came. When he returned, they asked him this question. He said the Liberian people should have conversation. Why do you think President Weah didn't do this? Because we allowed the country to reach to a certain level after almost 2+ decades. Then we want to bring this process back again. For me, I'm not saying we should not, but the Liberian people.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Interview. Okay, listen.
And I don't see it just as a duty.
I just, we've been on this journey together for a long, long time. And I wanted to thank you for the phone call. And I just wanted to ask you again, why did you want me to come over here when you?
Well, you've been a good friend of Liberia. And I don't see it just as a duty. I see it as a concern for a country that you have interest in and you pursue that. And we believe your concerns are genuine. And so we've opened the door for us to work together. That's why we called you.
Well, Mr. President, I can't tell you how many people worldwide, when they read your speech and you talked about
it's hard to hear this though.
Of the War Crimes and Economic Crime Court to facilitate the creation of this tribunal, international tribunal here in Liberia to bring the justice to the people. I heard it from the US. My phone blew up, as you can imagine. People said I could not believe, and they were so ecstatic and elated. And since I've been here, I've heard the same thing. So I wanted to thank you again and give you full assurances that we will do everything we can to help you bring justice for the victims of those 250,000 people that were killed during the 2 civil wars that happened.
Well, Alan, in every country, and especially a country that boasts of independence, 176 years, and you know very well that it is because of the impunity, the disrespect and disregard for justice that have created all the upheavals in this country. And we believe we have to lay this to rest. Let all the facts be known. Let people who think that they are innocent prove their case, so that we can lay this to rest, so that this country can move forward. It's not a wish hunt. It's a matter of testifying to what you know and what you've done, so that forgiveness can be done on the basis of knowledge and truth. And that's what we're talking about.
Well, Mr. President, you have our full commitment to help realize that. And what we did in Sierra Leone, we were able to move the people on to the reconciliation phase, because you're right, when people are walking around and they see impunity, and they see people that have never been held to account and self-enrich themselves, it's just it basically rubs it in the face regularly. So the fact that you are stepping up, taking this leadership role, I can tell you so far, the people of Liberia are ecstatic about it, and we're here to help you facilitate this properly, independently, and let the prosecutor follow the evidence where it goes. Not me, not you, wherever the evidence follows, and have it done under international standards, and it'll be done properly, and it'll be done transparently.
I think most of the people that have been involved know that if they were on the other side, they would like the truth to be told about it. So the truth is truth for each and every one that have been either offended. And so we should be happy that this will finally close the chapter of that history that had been haunting us over the years. And that's what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, I personally want to thank you for your courage to do this, because it was not easy, but you started it, and we'll help you bring justice to Liberia once and for all.
Thank you, Alan, for sticking with it. Thanks for all those who've been committed to it. We believe this is going to restore peace, and people are going to move, even those who probably may have been offended, and those who are responsible for whatever, they will know that justice was done and their minds will be cleared. And thank you for your role.
Thank you. And thank you for your time.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Mr.
Thanks,
President.
Alan.
Thank you.
Wow, that's it. You just heard for yourself. President Boga is on record now of giving his blessing to this establishment of the War Economic Crimes Court. The culture of impunity, the president said we should not tolerate the culture of impunity. We should bring a closure to this matter where people lost their lives, and people who lost their lives who are responsible for causing this harm on people, inflicting harms are today. Some of them are in the corridors of power. Some of them are walking around. They are with as if nothing was done. Some of them are on video, seeing action, doing these things to people. Now the president finally, I don't know, they never wanted to be out, but it's out. And but I want to throw it out to start Peabody. Don't forget there are a lot of people in government who were connected to some warring faction, whatever the case. And the TRC report came up, but it was defeated. It was undermined. No one implemented it. Liberians have been crying for years since the cessation of the war for the establishment of the War Crimes Court. And President Boaga promised that he was going to ensure that this court is established when he becomes president. And he said it, even though he did not complete his inaugural speech, but he did say it. And then today we see the president having a live interview with the guy who was responsible for prosecuting Mr. Taylor, President Taylor, Allen White. He was in Liberia, saying that he finally gave his blessing to it, and that this court will be established. The president will be held by his word. So, but Peabody, I mean, just give your chiming on this issue. Listen to the president. You know the president now. They was scoring high marks though.
Tomalin, look, I think it's only the right thing to do to bring closure to this whole massacre that happened during our Civil War, the lives of thousands of people that passed. It's the right thing to do, and I think this will, Liberian people will applaud this, because there are some people who are still in Monrovia, and their mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, aunt were murdered gruesomely by some of the very folk that are making decisions in our country today. And to sit around and see the very people who burned down your family, like Gala Butt Nicky, who burned people alive and poured alcohol, gas on the building and burned them to probably ashes. And then he coming up again with threat, and then coming on saying that he was using gamo seed and some nonsense that he talked about is unfair to those families. Some of those people have lived long or have passed waiting for justice, and they did not see justice, and they died. Did not see any of these folks being persecuted. A guy like Prince Johnson, who would sit on national TV and take knife to cut the private part of another human being, and would lie and say he was defending his people, even killing his own citizens from Nima, but would lie and say, "Yeah, I'll defend my people in the broad war." These people need to be brought to justice. There are others that are there. People need to be brought to justice. That's the only way the country will heal, and that's the only way people will move on. But there are people who are hurting. They've been hurting for years. I got a friend who lived in Germany. His dad was a pilot. Alan Cole. Alvin dad was forced to refuse to fly a plane to shuffling in dangerous area to drop weapon. On their way across the breach, Mr. Alan Cole was removed from the line and killed, and his son was told to keep going. And some of these folks are still immoral. They're lingering around, calling themselves. Some of them are in the Senate or other places. It's important for justice. These people who've been killed. Then I always reference my cousin Trukan Bachu, who was killed by Prince Johnson, right in the front of his boss. He was working for NGO. Took this man out of the line and killed this man right in front of his boss. This thing brought a lot of hurt to our family, all of that. My aunt, who was killed by a group controlled by George Bullitt. The Carter Camp massacre in Firestone. Relatives that have been killed. They all died. They did not see justice. It's important that this thing come to light and let those who need to go to jail. Mr. Taylor cannot be the only one serving jail. Some of these folks need to follow. And I think it's important that justice, so the remaining folks that are living, that will see that justice was done. And maybe one day they will meet their parents in heaven or somewhere and say, you know what? Prince Johnson did get arrested or something happened. Justice is needed. Thank you.
Yeah, Pee Wee.
I would have a little different perspective on this process. I believe again that the Liberian people, and this is a very serious debate and very convoluted one that we all need to focus on. Now, and that's a debate at the time we sent on if we there was a need to let this process about if we need a war crime code or is that going to push us back to this line. I do openly agree. There were a lot of atrocities committed or carried out back in the country during our civil process. And these things that I don't love to try to bring back to the same. I saw the real war. As a labor war coming up, there was a lot of issues that I cannot now currently explain. It was more chaotic, dangerous. And so most of these things that happen, particularly whenever I go back to witness the video where former President Samuel K. Doe was then slaughtered on live television. Trauma we try to come back. It's quite unfortunate. Beyond that, I saw where people were decapitated in the kind of struggling time. As a very young girl coming up, there used to be a gate from Kakata, BWR campus before crossing into Park City. They call God Bless the Gate, right? So some of those things, it was quite unfortunate. And again, part of the debate that former President we have a spark up at the time was to say the Liberian people needed to get involved into this process. We need to come from that perspective. I'm one of those that believe people should pay for their atrocities they committed. But again, are we committed as a country? Because if we are pushing these things come with a lot of huge burden to the society, both on the level of resource mobilizations and setting up this line and that process. The TRC just come out with a report, and that's one of the reasons. That's where my angle is. We did not execute the TRC report, and the very comprehensive peace agreement, section 9.26 or so, talked about the implementation of the outcome from the TRC. There was basic recommendation from the TRC, but again, the report from the TRC, we need to be very careful, and I will hope that folks will have to have some discussion on this matter. The Supreme Court did rule on the TRC report, trashing most part of the TRC report, because At the time, when the TRC report indicted the former president, President Salih, and more than 40 other political individuals in the country, they moved to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court trashed the TRC report. Now, we need to come in, and the Constitution of our country says that the Supreme Court is the final appetite of every judicial system in our country. The court has spoken about the TRC report. What are we about to do? Are we moving through the legislature to do a kind of a legislation that will come and say, hey, no, we need to come back and collect this report and implement this report, or we will have to listen to the Constitution of the Republic? Because Article 2 of the Constitution talks about the supremacy and the power of the very Constitution. There's no power. There's any other thing that will come contrary to that. And the Supreme Court, the very Constitution gave the power to the Supreme Court to do so. So a lot of things is currently unfolding in our country. I do believe Alan Ware and the rest of that. One thing I want to be a little mindful of is that we should stop on the thought process of the imperialist process that want to come back to the country. We need, as people, to protect the heritage of our country, protect the territorial boundary and the sovereignty of the right of the people of Liberia. But we have to do it in conformity with the law of the country. So my perspective of this process is that, yeah, we have to go about it, but we did set up a TRC process, and there was a report, and the Supreme Court did rule on this report. Where are we between the Supreme Court ruling versus the TRC outcome? Are we going to go to reconciliation, as the TRC said, or we need to track people and punish them on the basis of what they have done? Are we going to use the criminal system in our country? Because war crime court, it doesn't necessarily have to be an international court coming back to the country to get a settlement. Can we use the criminal system, the criminal court, to try these people where they will pay for the crime they committed? So that's my perspective on this question. We have to be very meticulous as to how we engage this very convoluted situation ahead of us.
Well, Robert, you can weigh in on this. Don't forget, President Salih promised to implement this, to have this court set up. It didn't happen for 12 years. President we have promised. It didn't happen 6 years. Now President Bouaga is the one who's have come up boldly to come and say, well, I'm in support of it. I know some people helped me to become president, but yet and still, the Liberian people, we have to put the Liberian people first, and the culture of impunity, we got to get rid of it. So
before I come in, President Salih did not promise to care. President Salih even went to the Supreme Court to trash this report.
No, the TRC report talking about the establishment of the War Crimes Court.
The TRC report.
She did not implement it. The TRC report that she set up it, but then she did not implement the recommendation.
Yes,
but the War Crimes Court that one Liberians are calling for.
Yes.
Well, Robert.
Let me say this, and I understand where Sylvester, my brother Sylvester, is coming from, but let's look at this. I'll let the attorneys and the legal minds look at the intricacy of this whole thing with the Supreme Court, the recommendations of the TRC report spoke about. Let them do that. But from a layman perspective, the question that I think we all must answer as we have this very sensitive discussion is, are we on the same page when it comes to holding those accountable for the heinous crimes and mayhem that? Do we agree that people should be held accountable? And for me, I think I'm hearing feedback. I think can we mute ourselves? For me, I think that the answer to that question cannot be one that is politicized or one that is based on certain groups, religion, or whatever. Every Liberian in Liberia, irrespective of your political affiliation, your tribal affiliation, how you feel about the war, how you feel about a particular warlord or whoever, I think we have come to the place where we understand that people should be held accountable, not based on sentiments, not based on opinions, but based on the facts. And so, Sylvester, to be honest with you, what did you expect from the alien-led government when a recommendation is made? And in that recommendation, the very folks who have the power to implement the recommendations are affected by that very recommendation. I mean, I would have expected her to go to court. I would have expected her to trash the TRLC recommendation, because had she even acted upon it, she would not have been able to run for office in 2011. And so we understand the politics that was at play there. Should we be given the responsibility to implement a particular recommendation, such as the implementation of War and Economic Crimes Code, to those who we intend to prosecute? This is the question. This is the question the Supreme Court must also look at. Who were those characters and individuals at the Supreme Court? What roles have they individually played in this very war? Is that a conflict of interest? You can't have people who intend to go to court having or being a part of a process when it comes to serious decision making that will affect them. This is the reason why people who are involved in crimes, or people who are under particular investigations, people who are leaders, will mostly recuse themselves from these kinds of decisions. I want to ask you this. If Liberians were to decide whether or not the recommendations of the TRLC were implemented, and not Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her government, do you think that recommendation would have been trashed? I don't think it would have been trashed. I think some actions would have been taken. And so I don't care what the Supreme Court says. What we need to come to one consensus on: were there hideous crimes committed in our country? Were there innocent lives taken? I listened to Lima Bowie, a speech last year, when she talked about the 600 people that were murdered at St. Peter's Lutheran Church. There was a girl who was shot to death, left to die, only because she stood out praying for God's intervention. Those 600 people that were killed, why were they killed? Were they part of those who inflicted pain and oppression on folks from a particular tribe? This war in Liberia extended beyond what happened in Nima County. This war in Liberia extended beyond what happened to a particular group. We must logically look at this issue and say, were innocent people killed? Were properties taken from people who had nothing to do with this nonsense? Were our lives affected? Our lives were affected. We were made to flee our country at an early age. We did not have the proper educational foundation, and it extends even today to those of our brothers in our country. Today, we don't have proper clean drinking water. We don't have education. Our healthcare sector is damaged. Electricity is taking many, many years to even get to the proper functionality. These are things we must ask ourselves. And are we willing to continue to have these folks live on impunity? The last point I want to make on this is this. Joseph Boakai must go beyond these comments. And I'm not sure why they did not intend to release this. If Joseph Boakai wants my support, and I will support the president on this. If Joseph Boakai wants my support and support of those who happens to be his biggest critics, he must go beyond just this interview. He must be very strong and send a statement to our legislature and say, look, I think it is the right thing for us to go on the record, not just me, for us to go on the record when it comes to the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court. He shouldn't care about Prince Johnson. He shouldn't care about Butt Naked. He should not care about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But the international community have not done a justice either. They have been very selective. When you have Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, without due respect, a woman who contributed immensely to the destruction of our country, when you have her sit on an international platform and given a Nobel Peace award by women who fought against this war, women who had serious stories about being killed, women and men whose families were attacked that had nothing to do with this thing politically, when you issue them Nobel Peace Prize, you are sending a message that If you have any war on economic crimes court in Liberia, you will not be transparent, you'll be biased, and you'll be selective. And so we have got to be very clear. People who committed crimes in our country must be held accountable. There should be no question about that. And on this issue, I will support Joseph Boakai on this issue. And in fact, he has nothing to lose. And in fact, even if he has anything to lose, he will gain a fair in me because I think this is the right thing we must do. We cannot have killers. We cannot have people who killed our people, who destroyed our lives, who set many lives back, who displaced our people, be the most powerful voices in our country today. This must end, and this must end now.
Wow. Robert Gagwa Jr. coming on fire this morning on a Monday on this issue. Let's hear from another fiery progressive firebrand, Grace Arakegoa.
I see my brother Robert, he's very emotional, and it happens when it comes to the World Economic Crimes Court. People get emotional, and I want to commend President Joseph Boakai on this one. I mean, just for taking that step to even make that call and talk about this. It's very impressive, and I expect that we will see something good come out of this from the call that he made, because Alan White is nobody to play with. So we know that him taking that phone and making that call, there will be something done concerning the World Economic Crimes Court. So I'm very proud of President Boakai. As you know, I will speak at it as it is. When he does the right thing, I would say. When he's not doing the right thing, the government is not proceeding well, I will also say. So we expect that the first 100 days, right? I don't care what my brother PB has said, whether this was established Peace and Reconciliation Commission. We don't know where Joseph Boakai is going to go at this point. We need the World Economic Crimes Court to be established. So we expect that in the first 100 days, because these things supposed to happen in the first 100 days, right? So we expect that Boakai office will establish a World Economic Crimes Court, which will be a crucial step to justice and reconciliation and accountability in Liberia. So we expect them now to start working. We expect them now to start putting their stuff together, drafting the legislation, securing fundings, whatsoever they need to do, engaging the stakeholders. They can start ensuring court effectiveness, anything they need to do for this World Economic Crimes Court to be established on Boakai, because this was one of the messages that he ran during his campaign. So we very proud of this president for even making that call. For me, I would really support him if he does that. My cousin died in the war. They killed him. Swansea Elliott, he did nothing to nobody. He was murdered in Lockington. They opened his stomach and started to take out his intestine, and he was talking to them about what did I do, And my other cousin Keziah Elliott, until today, she is not, she has not really gotten through this. She's suffered from trauma because of it, because she watched it happen. Fat Totman was my neighbor. His auntie and my mom, they were best friends, so they built their houses together in the same neighborhood. Fat was in my house every day of my life. When I was a little girl, he would pass, because he get to my house before he reached to his house, and he would come and tell Mom Mary, hello, my mom. Sometimes we would eat on the dining room table together. Fat went on the base to look for food. Prince Johnson murdered Fat Totman for no reason. He did that. So yes, we want this World Economic Crimes Court to be established. Despite the challenges and the government will remain committed to do it. Despite the challenges, or whether people voted for the government, or people ran the campaign that fought the war, whether Paul Naked were all in the street fighting for votes, we don't care. The War Crimes and the World Economic Crimes Court needs to be established in Liberia. People need to heal. People need to get closure. And that's what we are looking for Liberia to heal. Besides, and maybe it will help the society as a whole. That's why the country is just always going way war, and nothing can really be, secure in that country. Everything is just too many things happening, and we don't understand. So maybe justice needs to come to this country concerning the World Economic Crimes Court. And that's why I really commend the government. I really am looking forward to Joseph Boakai standing his ground and doing what he told the people that he would do. Right now, he has nothing to lose. The papa is 80 years old. He can establish a freaking war crime code, and we can move on with our lives. Thank you.
Well, honestly, President Boga, like somebody was saying last night, he's in the best position because, like, I don't think ever he said it, he will be going to be going for one term. Except he changed. President said he told her the same thing, she was going to go for one term, but then she changed it on. But I don't know. President Boga, and he told us that he'd go for one term. But if that's the case, he's the best man to do a lot of good stuff for this country, though, because it's like I don't owe loyalty to anybody who would help me win election again. And with Liberian people, I told them I would do this. Let me do it for them. Everything we wanted for them to do, they asked me, I would do it. I made promises. But the issue, let me ask you, Peabody, the problem people are saying that I'm hearing that wherever the case, Ghana might be the place they will have this court operate from. The Ghanaian government, I'm hearing that they have agreed to host this court. And even those who will be put behind bars, wherever the case will be put there. But you think it will bring a problem to this government? It will fracture. Don't forget, if you take away the people the vote to support for MRD, the Nima vote, Boga would not be president today. Nima was a key factor in this election for Boga, and the godfather of Nima. Say what you want to say. PYJ always spoke against it. He said that this case should not discuss. The issue was taken. They were given they were given I think immunity from this war crimes court. You see, in the past legislature, back in charge during President Taylor time. So he said that it should not be discussed. I think you heard him saying every time Delon sees him, he's always called war crimes court. I don't know, but they don't have to stop talking about it now because all on the same side. But Peabody, what do you think? You think this court it will be possible? A lot of things will happen though. It will split the government. You think it will bring a problem to the government? You think don't forget the vice president is from he's supposed to be from Prince Johnson's party, and you think it will be a problem for the government?
Tony, I think the people of Nima themselves want to see justice. There are a lot of folks from Nima that got killed in the Liberian Civil War. There's a lot of people, thousands Nimayans got killed, and I think there are a lot of them who want to see that if this war and economic crime court come, they want to see justice for the family that got killed. Thousands. I still remember the Lutheran Church massacre. I was right at JFK, right opposite JFK, when those innocent people were running that morning from the Lutheran Church, and we were right in the yard seeing them bleeding, babies and kids and mom running from the Lutheran Church that were massacred. I saw them firsthand, and even after AFL soldiers followed those people and started shooting them as they were making their way at JFK. Some were even put in the car and they just shot right outside in our presence, and we saw all those things. So I think the people from Nima need to no. It's not going to affect one group. It's not going to just affect the people of Nima and other things. The people of Nima too are affected. You got people from Grand G there, all of them, people from Montserrat, innocent people too that got killed. So all of them want to see justice. But my only reservation here, I don't want to see a war crime court go to Nigeria. I think it should be held right in Liberia. Those people need to be tried instead of right in Liberia, tried and send them. But I think everybody. So this is not just about what Prince Johnson being the Godfather or God King or whatever he is. It's about justice. It's about the justice of the people that die in Nima, people that die in Monroe, people that die all over Liberia. It's about justice for the people. You there, Tomalin?
I know you have a different view about this issue.
I'm taking messages.
Yes. No, I don't want to be taking the other way around. I'm looking at the intellectual reality here behind the whole process. But again, let me make myself, I'm unequivocally clear here that I do support. And as a matter of fact, I can recall more than almost a decade ago, one of those then championing this cause about a war crime, economic crime court when the New Progressive Movement, we had a campaign across the country. When I went across the country pushing for the war crime court at the time. And when we pushed this thing, we were vehemently challenged and resisted at the time when we said that we needed war and economic crime court in the Republic of Liberia. We said this. What I did at the time, I can recall 2011 elections. I even ran a campaign canvassing against those that contributed to the atrocity of our country to be elected in positions of those kind of a high level in our country. For instance, Nimba County, we have Senator Prince Johnson from Nimba County. We had all of those that participated in the civil crisis, all of those. It was a way of rewarding people that committed atrocity in the country. Now, come on, we need to come back to this reality. I sense my dear brother Raul emotion just now, right? It's realistic, it's understandable. But when we move at the time in the country and ask the people of Liberia, the very people that were victimized, they went in their numbers and elected these people. We spoke against it. And the same thing we said, and part of the reason I'm happy about this process, but the right thing should be done so that we, and the reason, do we know why the trial of former President Taylor was not held in Freetown, Sierra Leone? Peabody was just saying it should come to Monrovia. No, it won't come to Monrovia, because part of the reason is that most of those people got their protege and agents. There may be agent provocateurs that will be around that can come back. So if there will be a war crime court in Liberia, I can bet this, it wouldn't be in Monrovia. They will have to carry to a regional court, probably Ghana, yes, where they will try. That's why you think Taylor is way in Europe. Why they took Taylor in Europe? The belief is that when they arrested Taylor, because the anticipation is that you try Taylor in Freetown, remnants of the NPFL and the RUF junta will move to attempt to bring another thing to get him out. That was the thought process. The very Adam White proposed that we should not try Taylor. They should not try Taylor in Freetown. That's part of the reason why it was a special arrangement to raise the funding and to move Taylor to The Hague. And the agreement, the first thing was Taylor to go to jail in Tanzania. Not Tanzania, Rwanda rather. The Rwanda government said no, they didn't have the capacity because it was also afraid. That's why the British government accepted the process to get him in prison. So my point here is that I saw most of them, I saw most of the atrocity in our country. I witnessed it. And one of the things the last time, just a couple of months ago, I witnessed Prince Johnson publicly executing Samuel Doe. I teared up. When I saw Doe asking Vanny, tell your man to relax the rope a little bit. I knew that Doe was in unimaginable pain.
Until today, I've never watched that thing. I can't watch it.
A couple of months ago, I witnessed it. I teared down. I would love to see Prince Johnson go to jail for that. That alone is tantamount to a huge crime against humanity. We can't live in our country and see the country that way. But part of what I was saying to us is that the reality of time now is that we collectively did some things and we don't want to fix those things. Politically, the politicians themselves try to manipulate this process. So the manipulator, I see somebody put on the feed, I understand my perspective. My perspective is realistic. I'm looking at it from an intellectual perspective and beyond what we warn our people of before this process will come to the reality of now today. We can say everything we want to say. All of those, for instance, the first phase of the election 2005, 70% of those that got elected were people that participated in the war or served as surrogate of the war. 70% the Liberian people went and voted for them. We frown against it. By the time if you don't have money, you don't say anything in the Liberian political line. The Lutheran Church massacre. We have family people that were involved into that massacre. So for me, if the war crime code is coming not only from 1990, we should start from 1979. Killing those 13 people on the pole is tantamount to war crime also. We should be holistic here. It's part of the time. We need to be holistic from 1979. Or 1980, they started from 1980. Those 13 men that were killed in the way and manner they were killed. Public, that's a war crime style of killing people. Then we move back to 1985, when the Mayans were being slaughtered. They will come back to 1990, where people were being physically beheaded. You decapitate people in the kind of way and manner, you tabate them, you call it in our Liberian language. We saw that as little boys coming up. We all got traumatized by that.
Okay.
By all these kind of atrocities that unfolded. So I don't support the process, but I was looking at the role the Supreme Court plays. So if we come as a country, we need to move and take the decision and solve this problem once and for all and move so the country can move on. There should not be an ideological thinking from different perspective of individualism. Thing I'll go around. No, I don't support it. I don't speak against it. I am seriously in favor of it. But the proper perspective should be placed into it. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
So,
Robert, start repeating yourself now.
I bring in Robert. Let me say, people are saying that instead of just because of the time you have taken so long, we have gone almost 20 some more years.
That's it.
Are coming. People are saying that you should do it like what they did in what was it? South Africa or Rwanda? We should do it retributive justice and restorative justice. Okay, so that those who come public and say, well,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I committed this crime. Look in your friend in your victim's face and say, look, I'm sorry, Grace. I please. I mean, you have made your wrongdoing, and then you plead for forgiveness and reconciliation there. Okay, and then so people are saying that you take the one for restorative justice. Some people say no retributive justice. So, but Robert, how can you come in there and help us there?
Well, yeah, here's the thing. The thing about people, but before I even go to that, Tomalin, let me just say this. The issue as it relates to the Supreme Court is one, again, in a serious country would be trash if the Supreme Court and the government at the time, the president was directly affected by that report, would not serve as the judge and jury, or the jury and judge at the same time. It just doesn't make any sense. Remember, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, per the act of the TRC, was to make a report to the legislature after at the conclusion of the TRC. In that report, I vividly remember, in that report, there were concerns from lawmakers that her report barely addressed some of the serious concerns in all the recommendations of the TRC report. There was a reason why. There was a reason why. And that very reason is because Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was affected. She would not, if implemented, she would not have been able to run for second term. Do you think that Ellen would have implemented a report that would have affected her political ambition? Absolutely not. And do you think that the Supreme Court actually functioned at an independent level to have overturned the particular clause in the recommendation that would have banned her from running for office? Do you think that they did this simply on legal business? Absolutely not. They were influenced. The president in the country is so powerful to the point where the executive branch, the judiciary branch, and the legislative branch is highly influenced by the executive mansion. And so what we are saying is this: we can look at the legal aspect of this whole matter, but the decisions must be made by independent minds, people who are not directly tied to this issue, people who are not directly affected by the issue. They should make these decisions objectively and unbiased. Everyone in the country, including those from Nima, let me say this: I do know people from Nima. Some of my closest friends are Nibalians, but I'm a Liberian who believes in Liberia first. I respect my tradition. I'm a Bassa boy. My father's on trade time. Do you understand what I'm saying? I respect my traditions, but I believe Liberia comes first. Liberia is all of our common denominators. And so the people from Nima must understand this. If you continue to make this argument that one man fought against the Nima people oppression, then how do you answer those who were affected by his own actions who did not come from Nima? How can we make this? How can we make this argument? There's no way you can rationalize this thing. So we are saying we should not prosecute Prince Johnson because we don't like him. We should prosecute Prince Johnson based on the facts. Did he kill innocent people? Did his action affect innocent lives? Did Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's action create a chaos in the country? Were innocent people affected by this? And if the answer is yes, what are the punishment for these crimes? Simple as that. I don't care where the court is established. I don't care about none of these things. What I care about is people being held accountable on what they did and breaking the circle of rewarding people for bad behaviors. This is what we continue to do in our country, and it's a manifestation of what we find ourselves across government results on the retrospective justice and things like. Look, I don't believe in people coming to people coming to us and saying, look, like butt naked, for instance. Look, I committed crimes. I walked around butt naked. I killed people. I should not have done it. I'm sorry for doing it, but I did this under some sort of traditional influence. Who cares? There are a lot of crimes that people have committed they're sorry about. But is sorry a justification for justice? Do you know the message we will send? Do you know how many people will commit crimes and they can easily come to us and say, oh, I'm sorry. It speaks to this thing about doing it the Liberian way. Solving serious crimes and serious issues, legal issues the Liberian way. The mama and pa way. Oh, my people, that's what thing here. I'm sorry, yeah. No, we cannot continue to down this road. People who committed crimes, if you're sorry and remorse about the crime you committed, you must be willing to serve the time. Serve the time. And then we can put in place mechanism for people who serve the time on great behavior, and if they can be put on apparel. But people generally must be held accountable for that crime. This is the only way I believe, as a country, we can move forward by sending a message. If you have grievances, there are legal ways to express your grievances. If you run into the bushes and you kill innocent lives and you destroy properties, you will answer in a court of law. This is the prisoner we must set.
Yeah, but Grace, as I come to you, Grace, why if like they happen in other country though, and today these countries are moving forward. I'm playing devil advocate, so nobody should come and start attacking me. Yes, let me make that disclaimer. Yeah, but Grace, why if people say your victims say that okay,
to listen.
Yeah, your victims come and say, well, okay, look, I'm sorry, I did this, I'm sorry, please. I mean, I was under influence or something, and apologize and admit they're wrong, and you can forgive them, and you decide to forgive them. I mean, it happened in other country though. Don't forget.
Yeah, but Tomalin, you have to understand, it happening in other countries doesn't mean it should happen in Liberia. In any society, when you do the crime, you have to pay for it. Even the Bible said it. It says that, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. You do those things, God forgive you. But at the same time, you have to pay for your sin. You have retribution is sure. So there is no way that these people expect to come and just say sorry to everybody for what I did. And I agree with Robert Ogagwa of 100%. Even if they have limited persecution for them, according to their crimes, they have to serve for what they have to serve, be punished for what they did, and that's just the right thing to do for the people to be healed. I was looking at a video the other day, and I mentioned it here on the closing argument where First Lady Katuma Bwaka went to visit Bodnike, his whatsoever he got going, charity work. And then she was talking to him. She started to talk to him in front of the cameras. And she mentioned that if anybody come after you, God will not bless them. She was swearing the people that are still hurting from the evenness that man did to those people's families. And she said that thing, and a couple of people sent it to me. I listened to it, or I said, well, why would you do that? I know it, maybe she just got in the office, but her husband being president for 12 years, you should know better how to speak when it comes to the Liberian people. People are still hurting. Tomalin and the rest of the men on the platform, today, some people don't have family members because of this war. They lost everybody. My nephew got missing in this war until today. We never seen him. We never found him until today. You see, so these things happen, and you can't just say, oh, because the other countries knew what they were depending on. Maybe the kind of casualty that went on in the country was not that substantial for them to take the kind of action. But in every society, for that society to be governed in the right path, when people commit crime, they have to pay for that crime. They have to be punished and persecuted for the crimes that they commit. Now, it depends on the level of crime. That's how the persecution comes in, but it has to come.
Jawan, I mean, just I call it that for other day.
Well, I thought you just brought me as a spectator, really.
No.
But you came late, so
yes, yeah. But Jawan, look, I want you to weigh in on this issue about.
You keep calling me Jawan.
Because People, I mean, I get a lot of messages. People are saying that this thing will bring a lot of division in the country. The country will be more divided.
No. So Tomalin, I don't even want to end. I'm not going to let you end your question. I think this is those who say that's a scare tactic. I will first of all to begin with, and I just want to report. I'm going to make few comments, and I hope you allow me the time to speak on this. But I want to address some of the concern. Robert, not Robert. I'm forgetting this brother name.
Peewee.
Pew expressed about the Sierra Leone tribunal, why it was moved here and there. Let's put this in context. We're all living in Liberia. I mean, we're not anywhere on auto, living somewhere outside the earth. Sierra Leone was so fragile. Charles Taylor was the incumbent when he left, when he was indicted and he has to leave Liberia. So he still have control over the security infrastructure in Liberia. Okay.
What did I say?
So there was that fear, there was that concern. But in the case of Liberia today, we can't compare the same situation in Liberia today with Sierra Leone because we've gone through what? We've gone through 3 successful democratic elections. People have begun to rebuild their life. People know now the value of stability. So even if you try some of, I'm not going to mention any name here, you try some of the fear war laws in Liberia today, trust me, they're going to go in jail, sit there and serve their term. There will be no riot. There will be no disturbance. I believe this fundamentally with my soul, okay? But I think the challenge in Liberia is we have infrastructure challenge and deficit. Where is a prison in Liberia? We don't have that.
We will build it. We'll build a
We don't have that. So other countries, I would not even want our tribunal to go to any country because you know what? That country will benefit economically. All the foreign judges, all of the hotels, and all this stuff. So it's better for it to be in Liberia for Liberia to benefit economically. And I don't believe anything Tom Dick and Harris will go cause problem because some warlord of 26 years ago is in jail. Some of the fighters have passed these people long time. They've seen that, they fought alongside these people, and when the people got power, they never care for them. So they're not going to go down for them again. And these are real reality. Let's face it, okay? But I just wanted to pass that out and to also make comment quickly on the Supreme Court issue. We should not put fear on, let us not make the Supreme Court thing to be the Obubu. What was the issue before the Supreme Court? Ellen Johnson said, and all us have gone to the Supreme Court, and their complaint was on the lack of due process. That the TRC was penalizing them without due process. That they did not have a legal representation. So Supreme Court was using a constitution that gives every Liberian citizen the right to due process. The issue was on due process. It was not exonerating them of any act they may stand accused of, but they were just making that decision based on due process. So let us not make the Supreme Court actually meddle in the process. But where we are today, there is a draft bill before the legislature that Boffa Chinmo decided to bury. He decided not to bring it forth for full voting. It's a draft bill on the War and Economic Crimes Code. And I think that's the way to go. It's not just about the war. It's about the economic aspect of it because people, and not just Liberia, there were foreign companies that exploited the resources of Liberia during the war. There are records on these people. There were so many French logging companies behind Charles Taylor exploiting. There were Ivorian companies. There were Ghanaian companies that benefited from our war. And the records are there. The country can go after them through the Economic Crimes Code. And they will pay back those resources they stole from the country. So I think this is something to look at, So but I will begin this is just a passing. I will begin my real comment by saying Bouaka today has the potential to be a man of history. Here is a reason. Many Liberians have gone back and forth on the issue of war and economic crimes code. If President Bouaka has the courage to stand up and say, we're not going to snowball this issue under my administration. We're going to bury this issue. We're going to address it forthrightly and put an end to it. He will probably become a man of history. And there are many reasons why he could. One of the key reasons is that he's going to be doing it with Jeremiah Kun sitting down on his right-hand side. So it will erase that issue of any potential perception of persecution of Nema people. No, because a son of Nema is in the room making the decision. So that puts Waka in a very comfortable position, and he becomes a man of history on that. And I think that's the right moment. If Sally had done that, which I believe was the best time to do it also, but she would have had a local man as the advisor in the room. But President Waka is about to do it. He's thinking about it with the advice and consent of Jeremiah Kun, which is a brilliant move. And I think I applaud the president for that. Okay? I applaud the president for that. And on the Rwanda issue, people and others try to make case on that. The Gachacha court in Rwanda, the tribunal, this whole thing about Tomalin, don't let anybody mislead you, because that's what Liberians do. They take half truth and try to make it like that's a collective view. In Rwanda, the different levels of trial, the Hutu militia, they were ordinary militia. So they tried those who are at the community level, they would take them to this small palaver hall and make them stand there, they met with around in the committee in those communities, and they apologize. They were not doing that with the ring leaders, the commanders, those who bear the greater responsibility. That was not what they were doing to them. They were doing it to little militias who committed crimes under the commands of these people. Okay, things can be done in Liberia. In fact, attempts have been made. The Palaver approach is ongoing in Liberia already. Okay, so let's get that. So we can have this retribution of that. We can have a combination of that. But that will not extend to the likes of George Bulley, the likes of the leaders of the warring faction. No, it will not extend to that, because these will bear the greater responsibility. Their militia below them are the ones that benefit from this thing of admission of guilt and apology, public apology. Okay, it will not be somebody or Mickey who was a commander.
So I don't know what you're trying to say. Who said anything about half true about we want to issue anything yet? I don't know what you're trying. You're confusing the whole debate yet. Just now, you just confused the whole thing. Nobody, I didn't talk about anything.
Okay,
You just confused the whole process. Probably you just lost track and then you just
I want to talk about the Rwanda issue. So I'm just clarifying that.
Yeah, let me make it quick.
The last thing I want to end on here is, Tomalin, whenever we talk on this war and economic crime issue, people limit it to Lutheran Church or Prince Johnson. But look there are reports beyond the TRC, more than 300 massacre sites in Liberia alone. I had the opportunity to work in Sino. In 1999, I actually worked in the Southeast as on the demographic health survey team. I spent 27 days in Sino. I reached in a town called Nyenwolo town, and it was a savannah land. If you go to Peabody or the Sapo area, and you see the destruction in those villages, and I asked myself, I thought when the Nema and Grange, the people were at war, but the Sapo and the crew, they fought each other, they destroyed, and the people didn't live right there in Greenville. And these massacre sites across the country, they represent real family that fell victims. They are not imaginary people. So we should not just limit it to Lutheran Church and other things that we know around Monrovia. No, more than three. Go to Lofa. Lofa alone got more than 50 massacre sites. Okay, there are real victims across the hamlets and villages across Liberia. Let's look at it. Let's discuss it. Let's represent the hurt and that these people live for today. Some of them would never even have the opportunity to even be heard. The victims, the family of the victims of these people in the various villages, they will not have that opportunity to be heard. So I just wanted to make my contribution on that real quick.
Okay, so but Chairman Ben, welcome, man. But let me say, now I'm getting information that this video was not meant for public, but it's in the public already. But Ben, why you think this? You think the president is he's all for it? He's off to carry on this quote establishment, or I think it was maybe he just said it just to calm the people down or what. But now, because this code establishment will bring us a serious issue, not something to joke with, something that we all have been talking about for years, and up to now we are at this point. Ben, what are your thoughts about it? You think JMV will go forward with it? You think he will just let it slide, or just be just for talking sake?
So thank you, and thank you, and good to be here. See you guys. Had to, had some things I have to do. But let me say a couple of things are happening. At first, when I heard the tape, I even wanted to post on my page to say thank you, President Joe Buckeye. But then I got some calls, right? That you're right, Dominic, that this tape was not supposed to come out. But it's almost like they're boxing him in, right? From what I've been told, is that he wanted, of late, he started to have a change of heart on this process. That's the reason he did not include it in his State of the Nation address. If you notice, the line was in the inaugural address, and people were all wondering. You remember when it was in the inaugural address, we're all here celebrating. I mean, I was excited. I said, listen, finally we're gonna get some closure. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you come in to take people and just lock them up. No. People will have an opportunity now. Those who consistently their name has been tarnished and dragged in the mud, people will have an opportunity to finally go and clear their name. Victims will finally get a chance to see and to face the ones who they're accusing, and both parties will get a chance at closure, right? But what I've been told is that the president had originally come under severe pressure from his political alliance, and so that you saw him trying to backtrack on the previous commitment that he had made. But I think he went very, very far. Now, that video, from what I have been told, is that video is not new. That video was recorded even before his inauguration, from what I understand. Now, it's yet to be verified. Let me be very clear, right? This is all just information that is filtering in. But it said that video was done either right before his inauguration or right after his inauguration, right? But yes, I do know that the president is not happy, right? He's not happy about that video being out there. It almost seems like, somebody, but look, he has a choice. And from what I've been told, he's been presented the exact same scenario that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was presented with Charles Taylor. Let's not forget, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has struck a deal with the MPP when she, in the 2005 election. Former Vice President Joa Taylor supported President Sirleaf in the runoff of the 2005 election. In fact, she was the only major opposition candidate that did not, a politician that did not support her. Support President Weah then in 2005. The reason I bring this up is because there are videos out there. There's a video of this very Allen White, right, explaining the process on how they literally strong-armed President Sirleaf to turn Taylor over, because that's not what she wanted to do. Her mindset was she was willing to kick the bucket to the ECOWAS leaders. Her point was, listen, ECOWAS got him, let him stay where he is. Obasanjo said that we're going to kick him, but the U.S. was very adamant that they wanted him to face justice, and she had no other option. And guess what? They tied economic aid to that decision. They told her, if you don't do this, you're going to run into trouble with the United States government, and she had no other option but to do what she ended up doing. From the information that I have been getting is that President Boyka is in the similar situation, that's exactly the same situation he's being placed in right now. It is a standing. Maybe the only thing that's going to save Joe Boyka is maybe if Donald Trump wins the presidency, because Donald Trump is not going to be worried about. He him. He even worried about. But the Biden,
he doesn't have time for Africa.
Yeah, he has no. The man never even hosted the U.S.-Africa summit, so he's not even going to think about it. So maybe we may find President Boyka campaigning for Donald Trump if he doesn't want. But with the Joe Biden administration, this is a cornerstone of their foreign policy when it comes to corruption and the issue of human rights and justice. And for Liberia, they are adamant that they want closure. They believe the time is right. They believe the time has come. And the president made these commitments to them that he will do it, right? But I think because of the pressure, the political pressure from Prince Johnson, from the MDR, or from all of that, there are so many different repercussions here. I agree with Kelvo. I think all this scare tactics about, oh, war is coming. Nobody bringing war to Liberia. Trust me. If the people could take Charles Taylor, Prince Johnson was not more powerful than Charles Taylor, or never. He even got I mean, it's like ants and I don't know.
You had a multinational force. Don't forget now.
Who?
You had a multinational peacekeeping force in Liberia now. Don't forget.
Tomalin Taylor is so popular in Liberia today.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Charles Taylor.
I agree, but I just want to make it that you got a
yeah, but even with that, you got to understand the world we live in now today, right? The world we live in today. Where is Prince Johnson? Well, where is a war going to come from? Do you know what it takes to foment a civil war in a country? Maybe you say he would do something. I don't know, but I'm just saying you need support of a neighboring country. You need, I mean, there's just so many things that don't lend itself today for anybody to continue on this pathway of scaring the country and saying, I think it is even in the war, the alleged perpetrators of war crimes' interest to say, you know what, let this thing come and be over with, and let's go out there and let's hear it. Now, the cost is another thing. We can look at, or if they have support for it, let them go ahead and do it. But from what I have been told, Tomalin, is that that video was not supposed to be made public, and I think it was leaked purposely because he's been trying to backtrack.
So let me throw out that you think President Baga will forego support, like right now, Liberia, we are trying to lobby for this compact, that we are government passed the millennium the compact now. Liberia, I think the summer they'll be announcing it. Now I'm sure Baga want that $500 million to come to Liberia to help him with development stuff, and then also I think he want to also come and have that state visit in Washington D.C. Before Biden leave before the election, not the election. So all this thing he's looking for right now, you think he will say, well, because I want to make peace in Liberia, I want to calm a situation in Liberia, I will forego it just because I want to make things happen.
President Parker is he's in a unique position. As it stands today, it is not believed, and I like to be very clear, it is not believed that he will be running for re-election, at least as it stands today. We don't know. It may change, right? 6 years down the line, President Boyka can say, you know what? Yeah, Joe Biden is 81 years old. He said he's running for re-election, right? President Boyka can decide he would be 85, I think 85 or 86 in 2029. He can decide that he wants to run. He can decide that he wants to run for re-election. But to answer your specific question about whether he's willing to look, it is going to be, this is what decision about. This is what you got to make the tough decision. Right? Ellen had to make that decision. President Sirleaf had to make that decision because at the end of the day, we are so intertwined and dependent on the U.S. that you cannot discount what they want. And then, like I said, the temperature in the country, a vast majority of the population wants this court. It is enormously popular. It used to be unpopular. Trust me. It used to be things that people used to. It was a taboo to even talk about it. The level of which the acceptance rate now for this court, I don't think anyone has the capacity to be able to twat it. I think it's just a matter of time, whether it's Boyka or whether it's whoever is going to be president next. I think at the end of the day, there is still going to be some closure to this matter. And let's wait and see what he would do. You know, the good thing, Tomalin, the executive management issues piece, they have these press conferences. I'm sure this question is going to go to the press secretary. They will have to speak on this. They will have to take a position on this because you remember what I said? We were in the chat room, right, Tomalin? When I saw it first, what did I say to you? I thought it was an artificial intelligence video. I thought it was an AI video when I saw it until I realized that it was the real video. So the president will have to make a statement on this matter. He will either have to say that I'm backtracking on that discussion or I have not committed to it, or he may have to come out and say he's committed to making sure.
Tomalin, can I say something real quick? 30 seconds. Listen, I think I differ with Ben a little bit. I think when it comes to the International War Crimes Court, since the establishment of the War Crimes Court, The U.S. have opposed, by the way, the Bush administration did not agree with the establishment of the War Crimes Court simply on grounds that American citizens would be protected. It was the protection of American citizens and even those who worked in the State Department overseas, that countries that perceive them to have committed crimes or crimes against humanity would not be extradited to those countries.
So Robert,
And
I want to stop you quickly. Apples and oranges. We're not talking about the ICC in The Hague. What we're talking about here, and I agree with you, I know you're talking about the Rome Statute. The Rome Statute, the United States government have not signed onto the Rome Statute because they fear that nations will use it as a way to kind of go back at them, right?
right,
So
right.
what we're talking about, what the U.S. supports, though, you forget. You let's understand the U.S. supported the Special Court of Sierra Leone. The Special Court of Sierra Leone was not the ICC.
But that's the point
It's
I'm making.
It's something similar to what happened in Sierra Leone that is being proposed.
Right, but most of the judges that persecute cases at the special court in Freetown and other countries in Africa came from the ICC. They support this. They universally support that these small.
Some of them are Americans. The prosecutors are Americans.
Exactly, and many of them come from Great Britain as well. So even if Donald Trump wins the election, the point I was trying to make is we should also understand, for context purposes, that the United States foreign policy, for most part, can be considered tweaked a little bit by leaders. But there's a structure in place when it comes to U.S. interest in U.S. foreign policy, which, to many extent, is selfish. If it protects American citizens, especially those who work overseas, and every other. Remember when they said that they would not support the ICC and they threatened to veto during the Bush administration? They kind of softened their tone when the Sudanese leader were accused of genocide in Sudan, and they supported that. And so the point that I'm making here is I don't think this issue with Joseph Boakai, I don't think we should worry much about who is president. I think that if Joseph Boakai has the political will and wants to see this thing pushed through, I think he can get it done. And I don't understand what kind of pressure Joseph Boakai will encounter from folks in Liberia politically, because we are all resolved that we want the establishment of War Crimes Court. The question here is, how do we go about the implementation of that? How do we ensure balance, fair, and how do we protect the fragile peace that we have enjoyed all of these years? But I'm 100% convinced that regardless of what is happening behind closed doors right now, I'm 100% convinced that if this government wants to proceed with this issue, they can do that.
Yes.
And have the support of the government.
Quickly add to that. I think the concern Ben was raising quickly on this. Just a few you're coming, just few seconds. The result of the election, the country is split. It's a heavily divided country. I shared a video yesterday on closing argument. There's this lady from, I think, DW. She goes around Africa holding debate. I think the 77%, and I think that's the title of the program. So she was at the University of Liberia campus. And the first question she asked, how many of you believe that Liberia is better now because President Weah is no longer president? And nobody, she said, raise your hand. No single student raised their hand. No single person. So for me, I watched that video and say,
where is this video?
Yesterday. I will inbox you.
Please, thanks.
When I listened to that, I said, for me, this is a statement that we are in a very divided country. And if I'm President Boakai have answered today, the war on economic crimes is one of the issues that I will use to unite the country, because you find supporters on all sides, in the opposition and in the ruling position, right? You find supporters on all sides. I can use this thing to unite the country. That's what I think he should do. People, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I was looking at the perspective first and foremost for the process about the question too many asked. Very wonderful question, but that the U.S. government and diplomatically have not set that as a basic criteria to get the war crime code thing moving. For instance, the compact issue of development coming. Remember, the very Alan White is pushing this. Alan White and the rest of the folks push this process for several years because it's a huge money making process also. Right, and they're going to benefit tremendously from this process. But where's the money going to come from first and foremost? Who's going to sponsor this process? We need to be very clear. To establish a war and economic crime court in Liberia, we're talking about raising close to $3 billion.
Huh?
$3 billion.
Where you got that number from?
No, you don't need that. You don't need that much.
No, we don't try that number out, man.
Let's use Sierra Leone as a case study. You don't need that much.
The Sardinian process for Eastern, they
It was
raised
3 billion. You know what is 3 billion?
Ben, I may not be a student of number, but I know I'm saying to you what I'm saying.
That amount of money
I come in 1 minute.
Bill Rose in the entire life.
You need a lot of things. The entire plan for Eastern Sierra Leone alone to even just build the prison that you have Inga Norman and the rest of the folks in. They spent close to $500 million thereabout in terms of the consultancy, the plan, they were doing all those things. Hiring the justices coming in and the rest of that. It's a lot of planning process. Do you know some of those judges, the money they pay monthly and yearly? Now, so I'm not worried about it. I said raise from the line. I'm not worried deeply about that as to how the money is going to raise, but it's a huge resource mobilization process. And I don't think the U.S. government is not tying on. If that was the case, actually, they would have pushed President Weah to establish a war and economic crime court in his 6-year period. The only reason, some information that I gathered, that we're going to push the Americans to take the decision, have come from the line of good news against Prince Johnson, against the cavalry alums that were killed in the Gananzir area, right? At the time they were trying to push that. Would that be sufficient reason why they will move where Americans were particularly moderate in the process? Now, if we are establishing a war and economic crime court in Liberia, if it's going to be established in Liberia, first and foremost, we need to start planning the process as to where we're going to have the prison at Bell. We're going to put into place all of the issue about collecting all of the, and Ben, the reason why I call that amount, make your own research. Probably have not done that. You asked the question, right? I come in. You need to gather witnesses across the country. You need to gather witnesses across the country. It says, will you wait my bit, please? Tell with a little bit, please.
Yeah, but what I don't like what you're promoting on this platform. So it's getting to my last nerves.
But you don't have to like it.
I don't have to like it, but
you don't have to like it. No. You don't have to like it.
5 minutes, you're talking.
No. If you last part, no. You don't bring sentiment to this.
You're not going to come and put this kind of notion in their mind.
No. You don't have to like it.
You gotta let him speak his opinion. You gotta ask his opinion. You gotta let him.
Listen now, Grace, you don't have to like it, and I'm not pushing to please you.
Yeah,
you're not pushing to please people. When you put a national platform like this, you have to be careful what you put out there to our people.
What did I say? What did I say? Listen. Listen. You're not past. You're not past. You're not going to stop. I will let you score 1 point. Go back to where you can score your point. You're not scoring it here.
Why not?
Yeah, nothing. You're not going to score no point here. What I'm saying, no. But if I'm allowed to proceed,
Great.
Look at me.
You're not going to score 1 point. You're not going to score 1 point.
Look at me, brother. Do I have to score any point?
Yeah, you want to score a point. I don't know what you want to score a point. You want to score a point, and you're not going to score it.
Yeah, but Grace, you gotta let him speak his.
They may be talking for 7 minutes straight.
That's not true. That's not true.
But let him say his opinion.
We gotta be a little bit conscious of the time.
Yeah, Dr. Peabody, I'm very conscious of the time, but again, those kind of interrupted tactics.
No. Great. I'll leave that with you to deal with him.
Yes, thank you. So basically, what I was saying, and I'm not saying anything to the people on this platform that I'm supporting anything here. I'm being cautiously investigative in my expose as to what the process surrounding the entire situation is. And it is my inherent right as a citizen of Liberia to say what I believe surrounding this matter. I'm not going to be sentimental about it, and I'm going to create sentiment. I will speak to the reality as to what I perceive and what I understand about this process.
Where's it down?
Yeah, but
Right? So basically, that is my purview on it. If you're going through the process as to how most of those diplomatic issues going to unfold in the matter. I mean, that's just the issue. So
just a point of information before Grace coming. The Sierra Leoneans in 9 years spent close to $250 million. That's
what I was going to say.
The domestic budget for crime and justice is about 13 million annually. So,
please, you said it's or the international community.
We can spend about $400,000. This is over 9 years, by the way.
400,000?
So, no, we can. You thought $3 billion? You don't need $3 billion. That's
probably I may have overstated, right? I may have overstated.
You really overstated.
That's what a billion would have been. That's a politician budget.
Yeah, I mean, I overstated. I may have overstated.
Our budget didn't come from financial pressure.
Yeah, but I don't think it's
yeah, but let's also state Grace is coming in. Let's also state that the last time the U.S. ambassador for war crimes was in Liberia on OKFM, she stated, this was under the WIA administration. She stated that the United States government and partners of Liberia are willing to support and foot this bill.
Easily.
She said that.
Easily.
Right? She was very clear. This is not going to be a Liberia-funded event. And let's also state one of the things that people also should be fully aware of. A lot of legwork has already been put into place for this thing. A lot of legwork. The TRC report in itself, far from perfect, but it's also, there's been a lot of legwork done. So Grace can come in and then she can.
Yeah, but listen, Grace, before you come in, just give me 10 seconds. I beg you, Grace.
Okay, but when you said 10 seconds,
no, just to add to what Ben was saying, like a lot of work has been done already. There is a group also sponsored by some organization that support victims, massacre survivor. They actually have gone beyond the TRC report and documented the different massacre sites in Liberia. So a lot has been done. So and for example, the War and Economic Crime Code, the draft bill for Liberia, that was supported heavily by USAID fund through the American Bar Association. The Liberian Bar Association submitted that to the legislature. The legislature did not pass on that. But guess what? Gambia took that same draft bill and just made few changes to it. They are implementing their Economic War Crime Code in Gambia using Liberia as a reference point. They made reference to the draft bill that Liberia is yet to even pass into law. So a lot has been done. The United States government has actually been putting a lot of resources to these things. It's just a matter of time. And to just confirm what Ben said, the ambassador at large for war and for human rights and war crimes, she has been to Liberia 3 times.
I understand she's going to be in Liberia next week.
3 times she has been to Liberia 3 times. In fact, the last time she was in Liberia, she went and met Musa Dean and told Musa Dean that they have sufficient evidence to prosecute those who were unsanctioned. And if the government makes a move, the State Department will provide the evidence and even provide or supporting prosecution lawyers in the background to support the Liberian prosecution. She made that commitment to the government. But the administration...
Yeah, wrap on this topic. Grace, do you want to wrap on and we'll move on?
Yeah, quickly. Look, let me just say this. I am not here to score points, my brother.
Yeah, Chris.
We are on this platform. We come here like family. When something is being said that is, it's not a certain way where you have to come out and say it. I know my brother Peabody, he sat down here and he was saying, he talked way more than the time level.
I didn't do that.
And my point is that we start on this platform and we saw people like Eugene Falcon, the real propagandists, sat down on Facebook and carried on for all these months concerning the elections, giving wrong information to our people. Are you trying to tell us on this platform that the war in economic, you find it to me, the things you're saying, you finding excuses for the court to not be established in Liberia? And for
I'm not saying that.
It has to be established in Liberia.
You want me to allow someone to say things? I'm the
amount of money that will be put into it.
Did I say that on this platform, Robert?
You started
I didn't say, no, Ben. That's what I won't take. I didn't say the crime.
You said that Alan White never make money out of this thing and all that kind of. You can tell our people that.
No, but listen.
Our
But
people are very
you need to. What we know.
Establishment of the World Economic Crimes Court is important for the Liberian people. So you can't say anyone is about to make money out of this thing, and then you can't come here and be saying that. Some of us will not sit there and allow you to say it. Our people cannot be hearing these kind of things because this court, it has to be established in Liberia. It has to address the issue for Liberia to be healed, for past injustices and stuff. This court has to be established. Our family members were killed. Even when Gagwa started talking, you could see the emotions in him. He's not the only person. A lot of people, when you talk about this war and economic crime court, they are very, very upset that it has not been established at this point in time. True. It has to be established. So when we come here, we cannot just be seeing things that is nothing is impossible when it comes to this war and economic crimes court. The right government put in place, the court will be established, and Liberian people will be healed for our society to have accountability and for people to know that you cannot do these kind of things to people and walk free. Period.
And for the record, Tomalin, I'm not. And let me say on this platform for the record, I'm not against the establishment of economic and war crime court in the Republic of Liberia. I'm not. But what I'm trying to push here, there are other convoluted issues behind the scene that need to be taken care of. If those issues are not taken care of, we're going to politicize the issue, and the next 10 years, we will be on the same matter. We understand the political process in Liberia. And we're not saying it from the background that we just want to come and say it. There are things that should be handled. And that's going to see this thing. Why do you think we're now guessing here that the president didn't want this thing to be out? Why? I'm not. It left with me. If I had the money, I would push the money to establish this thing. We all got affected by this process. So no one should come against sympathy here that only one group of people know. We all personally got affected. My county, Lofa County, my county, a lot of other time, there were a lot of hindrance atrocities committed in Lofa County.
Our last two counties here become a Liberian. I stand for all Liberians. So whether it was done in any country,
all across the country,
we know that it
all
happens
over.
All
we all got
Liberians.
affected. It's not one group of people or one individual.
To be healed,
we all got affected. On this show, what I said from the beginning, that we support this process, but I was looking at all the intricacies, and that's what I'm addressing.
Well,
I'm not just coming to take side.
Okay, let's continue. We got less time to go.
Guys, it was a great crossfire, guys.
It was a great crossfire.
Nothing wrong.
I mean, some people are telling me that they say, look, let them put on a referendum. Let's do a referendum on this thing.
And that's what President we have suggested.
Referendum bidding on no.
Oh no, we don't want referendum bidding.
No.
Nobody
tell
me.
We're trying to
300,000 Liberians already filed a petition for war economic crime.
You know we need to legislate this issue?
What legislate?
No, you don't need that.
But even if we need that, listen, guys, we need that. Did you listen?
A special court.
But Pee-wee, did you listen to the speaker when he accepted the when he got inaugurated as speaker?
Mm-hmm.
He said this is his agenda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He said, in addition to supporting the president's agenda, he will also be making this part of his agenda, and he hoped that the president will also pick up this mantle. And so if the president is picking up this mantle, we got enough political will between the speaker and the president.
Yeah.
I don't see the
problem. It's true. We need our legislation. We can move
more than that, if contrary to what Tomalin is saying, a lot of people are also saying that many Liberians are saying we just need an executive order, to establish this thing here. Many Liberians overwhelmingly they are saying, the impacting all the same thing.
Whether they want it or not.
But there's a consensus.
Many Liberians are saying President Braga should just bypass the legislature with an executive order and move on.
Have to be established.
But Tomalin, I think we all agree, regardless of the processes and how we want to go about it, I think most Liberians would agree that they do want people held accountable for crimes committed. And even those people that we don't like, I don't like warlords. I've seen people kill people indirectly and indirectly. But I still believe that those accused must be given due process.
Of course.
Let them go to court and let the facts be presented. And where the facts leads, let them be held accountable. Let them go to court. Look, if they went to court, do the special court, and the special court look at the facts and say, you know what, we can't send this person to jail for 15 years for what he or she has been accused of, I at least will be happy. But let's establish a court. Let those folks have that day in court. And if they're found guilty, look, there is no way people like Prince Johnson will be found not guilty. That one I know for a fact. Yeah, that one I know for a fact. But let them have
the judges. Yeah, that one you're right. You know you're right.
Well, people need to clear their names too. People
You're right.
With
that video alone, that is.
We have spent a lot of time on this. So let me go to this, the last segment. What's on your mind? We'll start with Grace. What's on your mind, Grace? Then we'll move on.
Grace, bring the walk around, go back.
I'm beginning to walk around school.
Probably that's why Tomalin didn't want me to contribute, so he just skipped that. But it's all right, Tomalin. I got across Africa. I will discuss it tonight.
Y'all let Lofa say something at least small. Y'all let him say something.
Grace?
Yeah, it was on my mind. Well, I heard today was that there was a protest at the University of Nigeria. There was a protest. I'm not talking about our economic where I said my piece. And that court is going to be established in Liberia. It's going to happen. That's the only way we can have peace and reconciliation with one another. There was a protest at the University of Liberia today. And a lot of people were brutalized. Yeah. Yeah. At the University of Liberia today, the police.
Well, you know what, Chris? Thank you. That's the only reason I came on here, because I wanted to highlight that. The fact that you're doing it, guys, great show. I'll stay in the back now. I just want to
you can speak on it. Well, I'm speaking on this because people sent it to me, and they said that the protests were very, very peaceful, and the police went there and started brutalizing people. Some people got hurt just because of the closing of the school indefinitely. The people wanted to protest against that. We had a conversation here, and me and Gagwa joined down each other through here on this platform for it. Now, I don't understand how this government is different. When the president sat down and allowed these, and the people in the government, the high-ranking officers, especially in the police, and allow these kind of things to happen. What are you trying to tell us here? So these same things that were happening in your government that you claim that you're going to change, and that's why you put on your mantra when you were running for president. Now the people get in the street to protest, and you're hurting them. It's a peaceful protest. Nothing will burn. Nobody got hurt except the police hurt them. So we're concerned now. And I keep on saying this is how dictatorship is brewed. Before you look, people will not be able to walk in the street to protest anymore. So we are saying that we have more tolerance than this government first started this. They are not allowing the people to move freely and protest on the rights of what they want to protest on. Closing of a school indefinitely can make any school or any student to come outside and say, we don't want this. The people are being left behind when it comes to education. So we are calling on this government. I will get more information on it because I just got pictures, and one of the people that are going to the school complained to me concerning this. But this is wrong. It's not good for our country. Freedom of speech is important. The kind of freedom of speech you're talking about is not even the right freedom of speech. When somebody come and defame somebody's character and insult their honor, the private part, you say it's freedom of speech. The real freedom of speech going on, what the people protesting and say they want the university open, you beating them up. So like, bro, the society is very confused. I don't understand. This is what is on my mind.
Wow. People, I don't want your mind. I know, by the way, the former president
do you have the
Let me say this.
If anyone has the video, can you guys share it?
What video?
Hold on.
Yeah, Peabody coming now, guys.
Hold on. You interrupted. Let me say.
Oh, maybe I'm showing the video.
I just love the new Danny. I just love that Peabody these days, man. There's a whole. I like that Peabody right here, man.
Look, this is what I'm on mind. Huacat needs to do the right thing. We need war and economic crime court.
Amen.
We need it. We need to sign off on it. We need to stop playing with this thing. It's been dragging. So what do we want? We complain that people kill. We complain that people were corrupt. We complain that people steal money. By the time you get to the point that you should bring in these people to justice, then other people coming up with different view. Oh, this shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be doing that, and all of that. In regard to the Nevada Liberia, it's an ongoing thing. So it's a continuous something that continues every government. They protest and all of that. But it's shameful that the students are not going to school. It has been almost 3 months, going to 4 months. They're not in school. Who want the kids to be sitting at home 4 months and not going to school? What is our children learning? They don't even look, man. Every time I think about the University of Liberia situation, it pains me. That could be me. It could be my son. Some of the kids. Can you imagine 4 or 5 months? Then you have to extend graduation. Some of the kids will be in their 40s and still trying to get a bachelor degree, or even going to 50 and still trying to get a bachelor degree. That is sad for our country. We want to develop. We want to grow. We want to see things happening in our country. The young children who should be
77% street
they don't
debate.
have the opportunity.
And
So
you see young people around here.
who's doing this? People talking and just interrupt them like that?
Yeah, but the man talking, you just put a video on.
Who's doing that? That's unacceptable. I mean, somebody talking, you just go and put video on. So I mean, I feel for the kids at the university. I mean, a lot of them want to go to school, but the condition is bad. I mean, they don't even have a good laboratory. I mean, kids are taking lessons on WhatsApp. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. It's sad. It's very sad. That's what on my mind, Tomalin.
Pee, what on your mind, Pee Wee?
You're muted, Manovia.
Thank you. The state of the nation is actually on my mind. The process unfolding. You know, the University of Liberia campus today, when we got the news from some of the comrades, I'm a retired student activist, student leader, member of the Vanguard Student Education Party. We did all this kind of agitation before. I say this time to time. We were into this, totally ingrained into the tenets of protecting the sanity of the campus. We did that, and the sanity of our academic program and the rest of that. To see, and when the faculty, and that's all the time, when OFA say they're going to lay down chalk, there where the problems will start from. And when OFA is not going to class to carry on their academic responsibility, you as the visitor to the press and the visitor to the University of Liberia, that's the reason why they say the president is the visitor to the University of Liberia. You have to be on top of the issue to stop most of those kind of issues coming up, because the students are very tactical. It happened before. You don't play with SUP. You don't play with the Vanguard Party. We do have STUDA and SEAM, but the Vanguard Student Education Party is the massive organization that protects the student right of the University of Liberia. So to come back, and I mean, I will call on the visitor to the University of Liberia, President Boakai, to do everything. Talk to the management of the university currently, engage your Minister of Education. My understanding is that she's on her way back to resume her responsibility. I mean, engage the process, take control of the university. If it doesn't need to meet with the board and the president, you as a visitor, take control and show and talk to the faculty to return. Because other than that, if this thing persists, it's going to disrupt a lot of things. A lot of different things going to be coming out. That's a huge concern. When we got the inform today that some of the comrades alleged, and let me say emphatically, it's alleged that there was even an attempt to rape some of the female students today. That is alleged also from some of them that we received information from. But some of them were really badly wounded from the head. Some of the pictures that I received today was very terrible. And it's wrong. 30 days after the 22nd of January today and the rest of those things unfolding in the country, I will call on the president to take control of this process, make the university stable, and show that the both campuses of the University of Liberia, the three campuses, both the Fender campus, the St. J campus, and now the main campus, allow students to move and allow to do the right thing. So OFA can go back to the classroom and we have the smooth line. I will think, and again, let me close by saying this. I do support the establishment of war and economic crown court in the Republic of Liberia. I don't speak against any atrocity in the country. I have never, and I would never do. The neo-progressive movement, I've always thought our mantra is to catapult the image of our country. There's no day we will sit in this place and allow the marginalization of certain group of people. No, we don't do that. We don't subscribe to that. It's not our mantra. And we detest it, and we support the war crime court in Liberia. So let me say to my dear sister,
Amen.
Robert
Gagwa Jr., what's on your mind, Robert?
Oh my God.
Listen,
Thank you.
this. Look, I agree with Grace today on 100%. And you know, I just want to say in this public manner, people have called me. They say, "Oh, that woman Grace is so fussy. You should give it to her." I said, "Listen, this is the closing argument. We respect Grace's opinion on this matter. She's a force to reckon with, and sometimes we disagree fearlessly but respectfully.
Yes.
But I agree with her today on this issue. There should be absolutely no excuse about the establishment of war crimes court. The funding should not be a concern. I believe that if we will get the support, if we have a government with political will. And Mr. Vice President, I heard that you're watching. You are a young man. You have a big future ahead of you. Do not be held captive by a political godfather in Prince Johnson. Do what's right. Do what Barack Obama did. He separated his personal interest and put his character, what he stood for, what he envisioned, the America he wanted to be, an America of diverse opinion and people from different background, different ethnic group. And he publicly denounced the comments of his father figure and Jeremiah Wright. We must do what's right for our country, each one of us. It must come a time where our generation do the right thing. And so we can still love our friends. All my friends know about this. I love my friends. I support my friends. But my friends know this. I will publicly love you. I will love you, but I will publicly condemn your action if your action does not align with what I stand for and by large, what interests our country. And so we should put our country interests at heart. And anyone who loves Prince Johnson, anyone who loves Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, anyone who loves those who have been accused or alleged to have committed crimes will say, have your day in court. Everyone deserves due process. And I hope this president, Mr. President, I do not agree with you on any policy-related issue. I've never trusted you. I've never trusted that you have the political will. I've never trusted that your experience for over 40 years in public service have manifested the results that will change today. None of those things. But you're my president now. I will commend you when necessary, and I will criticize you when need be. On this issue of war and economic crimes court, I want you to know that you have my support 100%. This is in the best interest of our country, and history will judge you right. With regards to the protests on campus, I said this the other day. I said, look, I hope that the government do right by these young men and women. I'm on that side when it comes to reforming the education system. It is because of education that some of us are in the position that we are today. That some of us have the voice we have today. Without education, our last name means nothing. We will not be anywhere. And so those kids deserve the same opportunities that all of us have been afforded, be it in Liberia or abroad. And so I would appeal to the government, try to listen to the concerns of those students and do what's right. Do what's right by those students. Yeah. And I will look forward to the press briefing tomorrow. And I hope Ms. Kula Fofana is listening. Look, you're not baby. Just Joseph Boga, they're not baby. You're not baby. So at this point now, you're gonna have to start doing the right thing because we will call you out. Don't just say what the executive mansion wants you to say. Do the right thing and say the truth because we know the truth. Thank you.
What else? The people.
The people.
Gonglo, what's on your mind? But in fact, let me just say, the Minister of Information had his confirmation today. I'm sure he'll be confirmed overwhelmingly. So I'm sure they'll get their stuff together. But Gonglo, what's on your mind?
Confirming somebody by the Senate is not a news. That's a trading platform. They don't do anything there. They go there to trade. So if you were brought by Yomli Kanga, Yomdi will tell the other people, my own candidate, you'll confirm him. If the Amra gonna bring him, Amra gonna say on the president, if that president, the how it works at the Senate. So Jeremy Pierre is a comrade, you'll be confirmed. And he's qualified. But you will not be confirmed because the Senate has done some scrutiny. No, let's get that clear. So now, I just went on Facebook, I saw a couple of pictures. I share it. I actually try to post some in the here. I didn't succeed. Like people, I'm a veteran of the Student Unification Party. In fact, I serve as I was a member of I actually grew up in the rank and file of the student movement.
Should I say South too?
Yeah, you can say South.
I was on the militant wing.
Then South to the other one.
I served on the militant wing when I entered the university. I remember I talked with one of the security, President Bwaka, Comrade Alison Bako.
Yeah.
We were all together, when we entered the university. But then I got appointed to the Central Committee. Then I got elected to the Politburo. In fact, I presided over the 15th Annual Congress of the Student Unification Party as the presiding chair. So I know what we went through on that campus. I'm talking about the 2 years where protest was greeted by Jacob Nimlan, Grady Allison, and HMs on campus. I'm talking about where we're dealing with running main explosives. So those were tough times. We're in the trenches with those protests, and with the kind of brutal attack, unprovoked attack on the students today. I would actually call on veterans like Kofi Woos, who is the national security president, actually turned out his resignation. I will call Anthony Cassidy, the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, to turn out his resignation because these were leaders of the Vanguard Student Unification Party when we were on campus. These were guys that people fought under their direction, and some of them are now alive today. This issue should touch them personally. I will say to Comrade Jeremy Pierre, do not accept the position. I will call two veterans in the government to actually
the man already complained about a car in the confirmation here and said the man are big.
You know what? Because in less than 30 days, what we see today, we say before the tree falls, what does it cast first? The shadow. The tree casts a shadow before it falls. This is what we're beginning to see here. This is a casting of the shadow. It is a prediction of what is about to come. If you don't even go to speak to the student, and they're not going to harm you, students are harmless. They are looking for attention. They want the issue to be addressed. President Bwaka, even if you can't make it, you have a national security advisor in person of Samuel Kofi Woos, an undisputed student leader, activist. Send him to address the student. They will listen to him. Then you send police to greet them, and their talks, their indication of even attempts were made to rape some of them. I saw Comrade Miraka Kula, who is, I think she's the chair of the Vanguard Party. I'm seeing her in the picture. This is real. This is an unprovoked attack on the Student Unification Party. It's real. It's no joke. Okay? So, but I will leave them with their consciences because I'm not going to talk much on some of the comrades because I work with some of those veterans. I know how some of them felt when the police attacked students on L.M. Johnson City. I know how some of them felt. And I know this. But I'm not going to talk about that in the public for now. I will take my comment. And the last thing I want to talk about basically is about the university still. There are people who complain, nowhere in the world, people go to college free, they don't pay tuition, even in Ghana, in Nigeria, people pay tuition, this, that. True. But the level of corruption, public theft in Liberia, compare that with paying peanuts to keep the university open. Thomas Fala has a university that he never had until he got elected. The vice president of Liberia alone got more than 24 properties in Liberia alone. How did he get it? So let's go on a list of people who acquire wealth in public properties. Then you talk Robert Saleh, the Nuka, $80 million. The president said I took responsibility. And what you need to pay to keep the university open is not even more than $30 million. So what are we talking about? We have to make a choice between giving quality education and having other people to steal our money. And we protect those people who steal our money. I think giving money to maintain the free education at the university and even providing laboratory reagents, tools is the best thing to do. Because you know what? You allow the number of students to increase to stay in school. The money they pay at the university may be little to people. I have taught at a university for more than 7 years. I was a student. You will not believe how many times students come to teachers to beg them, even just for transportation to leave the main campus to go home. We should not forget that Liberia is a poor country.
Okay.
So people come from villages and come to Monrovia and they have nowhere to stay. They eat roasted cassava. That's all sometimes. That's the only meal they have for the day. But if you haven't experienced this, you don't imagine that it's possible. But we went through it because I came from a lot of village in Greece up here. And I came to Monrovia. My father never had a horse.
170.
We go up there only eating cassava, roasted cassava. That's all.
Okay.
It's not limited to me. Thousands of students are still going there. So paying the tuition for the students is a good for the policy.
Okay, what's on my
let me go here. What's on my mind? Your man and I'm leaving the job. Forget that.
Yeah.
Those men have been waiting for 6 years.
Yeah, 6.
6 years.
6 unbroken years.
Can you put your oil on your mind? Pia.
Who's that?
Pia will ask about his car. He said the minister the car, good car, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, look, people have been waiting for 6
Ben,
years.
well, your mind quickly. Let's go.
People have been waiting for 6 years. They have the opportunity now. You can very well be sure they're not resigning for no protest on LU campus. They will fix the country. But let me say this: the country is moving. The country is rescuing, and we're doing what we gotta do, right? I didn't know there was a protest on LU campus today. I didn't know. I know what, because I really wasn't following Liberia news today. I was kind of really busy. But it is sad. It is tragic that students got brutalized. I think this is it seems to be a stain that seems to always follow the white shade of every administration in Liberia, right? Every administration that comes, there has to be something happening on the University of Liberia campus, and but we hope they will go ahead and look into it and see what the students are agitating for. I think they say issue with their teachers. From what I understand, the teachers' salary, so they're boycotting, right? On the issue of the War Crimes Court, I think it is high time that we face this reality. Let the chips fall where they may. I think we have enough support for it locally, internationally. I think I have been told that there's a possibility, it's not confirmed yet, but I think the U.S. Embassy will be issuing a statement confirming it, that this ambassador at large for war crimes is due in the country in a few days or weeks.
Oh, I thought it was
So it tells you that the U.S. takes serious on this particular interest. And so we look to see, again, I will be waiting to hear what the president or the president himself has to say about this tape that is flying around. On the issue of tenure, I think the country is, charged. Everybody is is raising the issue. I see legislators are taking it to another level. I saw somebody talking about a possible impeachment bill for the president. I don't think we need to impeach the president, because you don't want to set that kind of standard or that kind of precedent, because nobody will be able to govern the country, right? But I think the president needs to do what is right. I think he needs to. I trust it, and I have explicit confidence in his Minister of Justice designate. I think he would give him the right advice, and let's see what happens. Let's see what comes out of it. At the end of the day, the law, the law is the law. Let people follow the law. The president is not above the law, and if there's a law in place, there's a reason why. Until that law is repealed, it must be obeyed. We want to thank everybody. I think it's a fascinating thing. But again, man, I'm just, from my perspective, Kelabo, I think you're on your own with your LU business. The boys not resigning. They're not leaving. You saw Patrick Hunter post today. He said we were there in the trenches for 6 years. CDC people were with. That's what it was about. That's what it was all about. This was about jobs. This was about coming to replace people in jobs. In the end, that's why you see all this spiraling and everybody is having a heart attack. But we'll wait and see what happens, my brother. We'll wait and see. Grace, it was good to see you. Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens.
What's on your mind? Quickly.
Who?
Lofa.
Oh, but by the way, great show, guys. I followed through, and my sincere apologies for the late appearance. I had work travel, so by the time I got home, you guys are already on here. I intended not to come on, not to be disruptive in a way, because if I'm late, I should have just followed from the back. But I apologize sincerely that I'm on here late. I think it's not respectful to our audience. Not that it's respectful to any of you guys that came on time, and I didn't. But in that regards,
Lofa, what you trying to say? Well, we can't
come on, Lofa, man. You stay here. Then you say not respectful.
Yeah, that's why I apologize. I don't think it's respectful to you guys that were.
Oh my man,
you guys attacking me though.
Yeah, so
basically.
Those that can always can't live there.
Now, what you trying to say? If you're coming late, just stay in the back. What are you trying to say?
Lofa, you done?
Hold on. No, what do you mean? Hold on. Tomalin, you asking me if I'm done?
You listen to the guys then.
But you know what? No, let me speak to a couple of things that I want to highlight, especially the issue on the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. I want to remind my brother Peewee, okay, there were 300,000 Liberians, and thanks to Luja, Emmanuel Savas and his team, that solicited signatures, not just anything, but signatures to a petition that asks for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court.
True.
And all of those signatures, not just word of mouth, but documentations were presented, okay, in Washington. Those informations are available, they are documented, and that is where the idea of the support for this establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court came from. If you are to look at your registered voters, if I'm correct, go on the NEC website. You had 2,471,617 registered voters.
So,
okay, out of that, 300,000 of them affixed their signature to the desire for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. It's not a joke. Liberians want justice. And you know part of the reasons why they asked for this establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court? Simple. They want to prevent similar situation such as what your colleagues, your comrades at the University of Liberia experienced today. They were brutalized because they exercise what is constitutionally theirs, their right. Brutalized. Something that President Weah and the CDC government did. And people are simply trying to say it did not start today. The trend is right here, and we can see it for ourselves. So when we see people try to politicize this whole idea and claim that, look, Alan White and other people are trying to use this as an opportunity to enrich themselves, maybe the Alan White and others may not have had the opportunity to contribute in the way they want to, how you and I don't do diligence to make sure that we fight tirelessly for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. You were opportune to serve in the CDC government to some extent. Maybe your voice should have been added to that of others to call for the War and Economic Crimes Court in Liberia. That would have helped to prevent the Alan White and
how many times should I say that I've been saying this? I don't. You call me and you still tell me to say that. You said maybe I said this. I have done it.
Let me land. Okay, if you did it, if you did it, bravo to you.
Okay.
Let us continue to encourage this idea, and let us not set any roadblock. Because when we start to tell people there are hindrance and all of these possibility that people are coming, the Caucasians are coming to get rich out of Liberia, our people, because of the level of gullibility to some extent, may be afraid, but they will not look at the positive aspect of it. This implementation of the War and Economic Crimes Court, it gives a lot back to Liberia. We benefit a lot from it. So the likes of Butt Naked, Prince Johnson, and other people would not feel like they are untouchable. And the reason I mentioned Prince Johnson's name is because he has shown no remorse for his participation in the war. He justified his action often. He don't see himself as a perpetrator of mayhems in our country. He see himself as a hero. And for that reason, we are saying to all of us, let us see reason to fight for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. And let us educate our people on the value that it brings. The value added. It is not anything. This is not a form of witch hunt. Okay? This is the opportunity to set precedents so that no one again would think that, hey, I can come and grab a gun. So that Ben Sanvee would not think that when he's not given the opportunity to serve in UP government, he can actually go and take the guns to Liberia.
I won't serve
okay? So that my brother Mr. Gonglo on here would not say that if his colleagues refuse to listen to his advice and take the job, which I know they would not listen to, he would say, you know what, we're going to have to go to war. These people will understand these things. We must protect our students. They deserve everything. They must be protected to the fullest. So I'm saying to you, what happened today? What happened today on the university campus? I think Honorable Boyka should, speak about this. I know he's not going to do that, but the same things that happened during President Weah's term, we are experiencing it gradually. You started to brutalize students. You started to do things that we don't expect. Within 30 days, here we are. Let us move Liberia forward in the right direction. And let us not move Liberia forward in the opposite direction as to what Liberians sincerely want. Secondly, on my mind, and I will close on this note. I know I'm taking a little bit too much time. Let me say this. I heard that Madam Yombly Kanga Lawrence, I guess as of this point, the entire government is who know you, relative. I bring my relative, you bring your relative, and then we go ahead, we just appoint them, they get confirmed, and go on. That's the kind of government now we have in Liberia. Yombly just appointed her best friend or whoever. Amarakane is yet to declare and publish his asset. Mr. Transparent is yet to declare and publish his asset. These are the deceptive individuals we have in our society, and we would not stop. Like I said to somebody, every morning, if the only post I would make on Facebook would be to call Americans' attention to declare and publish his asset, I will do that. Okay? DeLong can relax for now. American will live and serve by example. Thank you.
How long were they giving to declare the asset?
Let me talk about my mind too now, because everybody, quickly.
Let
me just welcome my friend and brother Al Jerome Anasta Chitty from just joined us to watch us. It's a pleasure to have you watching the closing argument, Al Jerome.
How you can see all these people watching?
Yeah, Ben, because Ben, I controlling, so I see.
I definitely.
But anyway, though, but I generally know sometimes allow you come to join the talk on politics soon. But what on my mind is the Supreme Court. Today, the Justice in Chambers, Justice Yusuf Kaba, he issue he's inviting the on the issue of tenure. On the issue of tenure, the LTA commissioners they took the case to Supreme Court, and now the Justice in Chamber is calling on the Justice Minister for to join for a conference on Wednesday to discuss this tenure issue. I think that we are getting somewhere with it. The new Justice Minister, Oswald Tuet, formerly from Liberty Party, I think I've been that party people. Yeah, he is Justice Minister now, but the Supreme Court Justice is calling now for a conference to discuss the tenure issues. It's now they say versus the people appointed by President Boyka and the present commissioners. So on Wednesday, we look forward to hearing that, see what happens from that conference because the issue must be resolved. Because right now, I heard that our fisheries, the later on fisheries were attacked too, but I think the lawmakers then went there, intervened, and the police had to go there too. But let us bring this issue to an end. And so we hope that is to an end. And lastly, today, as I said, when we started the show today, President we did a phone call on President Boyka's 30 days, and it was almost evenly divided. But more people gave him a low grade for that. And one thing, last on my mind, the president is not at the African Union Summit in Abuja. And it's the second time he's missing it. He missed the
ECOWAS Summit.
At the ECOWAS Summit, the African Union Summit in Ethiopia 2 weeks ago, he wasn't there. There was no show. And then this one again in ECOWAS in Abuja, he's not there. These are concerning issues. And
the president not going on it.
Hopefully, we'll get information from the ministers tomorrow. Yeah, then why the president is not, why he's skipping these meetings. It's very important. But guys, who show? Everybody got 30 seconds to do that closing quickly. Grace.
Let me say this. Let me thank Alvin Logan. I just want to recognize them, Alvin Logan and
Alvin Logan,
Patrick Foley for their contribution. I will just close now.
Tula want me stronger.
I will just close now. That why I said the president did not go to the ECOWAS summit. Is there any information on that?
We got to respond tomorrow. Relax.
Why the president did not go to the AU summit? Why could he not designate his vice president to go and represent him or somebody to represent him? I think it was sad. Is the president not going to be able to travel to meetings and things? So Liberia will not be represented at very important conferences and things. I think it's a concern here. It's a serious concern that we are not just, he haven't been into office 1 month. He can't go to AU. He can't go to ECOWAS. Where can he go now? Where can he go? To be honest, where will he go? This is embarrassing for our country. And I don't know. I think it should be a concern to, especially the lawmakers and others. So, thank you.
Okay.
So let me do my closing.
I was supposed to do my closing, Ben.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Grace.
Let me welcome our sister to the USA, Tilia Ure. She's welcome, Tilia. I will look forward to show you visit us on the platform while you're here. But just
welcome, Tilia. Welcome, Tilia. Welcome.
Grace, go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, so I would like to thank you guys for having me. I know I am not a regular Liberian woman, and no disrespect to the regular Liberian women because we are taught in Liberia that ladies are seen but not heard. But this woman, she's seen, as you can see, and I'm heard. I will speak. So I just wanted to yeah. Also. Overall, the establishment of the World Economic Crimes Court in Liberia is crucial for addressing the injustices, promoting accountability, and laying the foundation for a peaceful and prosperous future. So we are looking forward to this government on the promise that they made to the Liberian people to establish the World Economic Crimes Court. I would also like to say that the right to is a fundamental human right. So you have to allow the individuals then to express themselves. That's the right thing to do. We are government. We had the same problem with that. We used to say it. We are more tolerant when it came to that. Although his people behind him were kind of brutal a little bit, but he was tolerant with this all the protesting. Although he did nothing, but at least he allowed the people to protest. And we expect Joseph Boakai government to allow the people to protest and also do something, because that's what they ran the campaign on. And people have to express their grievances and advocate for change. That's just the right thing. Any country will allow that to happen. So I don't know what this is an issue now that our people being brutalized, especially our future leaders for tomorrow. The people at the University of Liberia, they are our future leaders for tomorrow. You cannot be hurting these people and beating them up because they try to speak on their right. Protesting is the cornerstone to any democratic country. So we cannot act like we are in a military rule. Liberia had one military rule, as far as I can remember, and that was no government. And we moved far apart from that now. We are in a safe nation. We are not fighting war anymore. The people should be able to express themselves. So I would like to say thank you again. My son is behind me to take him out to eat. So I'm about to take him out. It was good with you guys having me here. I want to thank the audience as well. God bless you and God bless Liberia.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you. I got my great CEO.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me do my closing, please. Let me do my closing quickly. Let me say this.
Ben, let me do my own closing.
You really believe you're gonna just show up and you expect I'm just like you start talking?
Yeah, but Ben, what they gonna show?
Let's do that. I mean, man.
Let me do my closing. It's not gonna be long. I just want to say something quickly.
No, let me do my own closing.
Kev, please stop it, man.
We're to work. So
don't be disruptive.
We can't do that. I mean, this is only outside of monk. Let's give the man a chance.
No. He wait after me.
Okay.
Let me say this.
It's okay. We still lost Serodonian, though. It's okay.
Yeah, let me say this.
Yeah. No,
let me state for the record.
You're right.
Let me state for the record. That I support. Easy. Have the stabbing the place.
No problem.
Mute yourself, my man. So let me state for the record that I support the president not attending these conferences. I do.
You see, Ben?
It's a total.
Ben, you come and support the show, man. Yeah, don't do that, man.
Ben doing this properly. Let man land. Go ahead, Ben.
Have you heard my reason why I say I support it?
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Exactly. Look, first of all,
and I support you, Ben.
First of all, the president is saving taxpayers' money. One.
Look at that.
Two. Tommy, am I protected? You the whole water return.
You protected.
Okay. Do not stifle my opinion. The president is saving taxpayer money. We're not hiring private jets for presidential trips. The third thing for me is that conference in my mind, what's the dividend that Liberia are going to get from it anyway?
Stop that, man. Stop that, man.
Exactly. Because when I say we're not hiring private jet, it hitting your corn. Because you think I'm coming to talk about Joe, we are using private jet. After all, I told you I support that for Joe. I supported Joe. We have voted him, so I can criticize him if I want to. Just for the record, so don't get me started. Let me get on this point. I don't think there was anything significant that
Robert, don't sit there and let it.
I don't think that anything significant that Liberia was going to benefit from that or conference. Nothing. ECOWAS met. They wanted to announce that they're lifting sanctions on Guinea and Burkina and Niger and these countries that threaten to leave the regional bloc. Plus, the president decided that if the ambassador go and represent him, it saved the country money. It saved the country money.
The ambassador was not present.
What? Let me finish my thought, gentlemen. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Y'all were complaining when George Weah was traveling everywhere. Y'all were complaining. Y'all were saying George Weah was traveling on private jet. He was carrying 50 people behind him. Joe Boakai have now said, where I can go, I will send a foreign minister who is, it will be a smaller delegation, and I will let our ambassador, if we have an ambassador situated there, that ambassador will go and represent the president. People are making an argument that, he should go and network. What benefit is he go? When the president makes a trip, I am more interested in the dividends from that trip. I would be upset if President Joe Boakai gets an invitation to come to the White House that where he would be able to get dividends for the country, and he doesn't show up. I would be upset if you say President Joe Boyka gets an invitation to go to a conference or something that would give Liberia benefit, and he doesn't show up. But for the president to go sit down in an ECOWAS summit to go and say that they're taking sanctions from Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire, and then come back in the country, who are just complaining that he went to Ghana. So I support the president not going on this trip. I think President Boyka should only travel smartly. If his presence is not required there, I think he should send, if there's an ambassador, let the ambassador go and represent us, or he should send the vice president or the foreign minister. I think even the foreign minister go, the vice president to go, delegation, you got to care. That is what I wanted to close on.
Can I close Tomalin, please?
You can go ahead and do all that thing.
Guys,
I'll
Rabo, I beg you, man. Let me just close quick. I beg you, Rabo. Thank you, Rabo.
You want to close? You even open. How you closing when you open?
Well, Robert, I'm at your spot that you always, you know, there for me, my man. At your spot, man.
Look at
you know, Robert. But listen, you see, I should enjoy it. But let me say this. You know, we listen.
Ben, I like your mug, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. We listen to you guys. By the way. I was with my sister Tila Yuri. She here and visit. So we listen to you guys talking about the issue. You guys are spot on. For me, I don't know if you guys touch on that. And like I always say, Liberia is on a different path right now. Liberia is going, we preach about it, we spoke about it, but Liberia is going on a different direction. And stakeholder like you guys, Ben Sanvee, Tomalin George, Robert Calabo, and Minister Peabody, all you guys should stand up. Liberia is on a very dangerous path right now. When you have a legal advisor is trying to change things, you never see that before, and I think this is the time that we should walk away from whether we partisan or with this and stand up for Liberia. It's a country that we love. Everybody on this platform loves Liberia. It's a country that we love, and we have to stand up for what's going on right now. The rule of law is something that we should stand up for. So I'm not going to go on too much with you guys because of time, but I believe that you guys are spot on to talk about what's going on in our country. My little sister T and I will listen to you guys, and everybody was on point. The only thing is, I just want my brother Ben to make it clear. I understand where he's coming from, because a lot of people was talking about John, we are traveling this and that, but you have a president who don't want to travel. So what is your problem?
That's my point.
What is it? What is your problem?
Money.
What is your problem? You know, but Robert, come in. I would just and
thank you, Kev. Thank you for that support. I thought you were coming to differently.
Let me say, I don't really care what Kev just said. Let me just say, I disagree with Chairman 100%. Yeah, I know that my business, but I disagree with Ben. I'm not sure if he's being sarcastic.
I'm being serious.
Or he's been serious.
I'm serious.
The ECOWAS summit addresses serious issues of national security.
Yeah, but Robert, this man is
wait. No, I need Ben to listen
That's
to this.
Why you're voted for. That's why you're voted for.
Unless you are telling me that
that's what Ben is saying. You're voted for that.
Unless you are telling me that the peace accord in Accra in 2003 meant nothing to the region, and so that don't say what I'm talking about, because when you have a crisis in Niger based on sanctions that that had to do with border closure and all kinds of stuff, it affects Liberia national security as well. And so the president of Liberia, yes, there are some occasions where he can send his foreign minister and others to represent him. But this thing where you are speaking as if it is now a norm, it is now acceptable that the president, the commander in chief, I get that. But the commander in chief, I don't want you to sound as if that because the country listens to you, Bennett, including me. You're coming off as if you concur with this new norm that the president must not travel. Because
does he have to? I don't think he should.
Yes, he does have. Yes, he can.
If he doesn't have to, he should. He should give us pay us money.
The issue with George, we are flying private jets. The issue with George, we are flying private jets was one thing, as opposed to how the president should travel. Your argument is, well, the president don't have to travel. But
Robert, you voted for 85-year-old man. You expect him to be flying all over the country?
Yeah, but Ben also argues that the president we voted for, as far as he's concerned, is not mentally impaired. He's not disabled.
I didn't say he was.
So if that's the case, part of his job is to represent the interests of Liberians at this key conference. So, is it going to be okay? He doesn't go to the United Nations.
You're voting for chaos.
John Magufuli never traveled.
Let me say this.
John Magufuli never traveled, and he was one of the most effective presidents.
But the circumstances is different from Liberia's circumstances. Mr. President, if Mr. President cannot travel,
Magufuli is different. Yeah, I agree with Ben.
But of course it's different. Let me let the other guys come in.
Where's Magufuli today?
Let me learn so the other guys can come in.
Hey, my man, don't even talk about that.
Let me learn so the other guys. If the president must be able to carry out his responsibility, and part of his responsibility is to seek the interests of our country. If he will sit in Monrovia and allow others to travel and represent him, then we need to understand why is the president not going to this trip. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. The president must travel. His travel must make sense. His travel must be economic, but he must travel and represent our country.
That's my point. What's the dividend for him going to Abuja?
Tomalin, can I close?
Caleb, can I take 10 seconds?
No, not 30 seconds, Minnesota.
10 seconds. I beg you. I want to say something. 10 seconds, Caleb. I beg you. I will give you 10 seconds. I will give you back it tomorrow. What I'm saying is, Ben, are you saying that if JMB don't travel, it benefit the country? That's what you're saying?
Economically?
I don't think so.
What I'm saying is, go
ahead.
We can have
that's a new debate.
Go ahead, so I can close you.
My closing, I just want to close on
30 seconds.
This has been a very great show. So there are a lot of issues we discussed tonight. And I want to just close on recap those two issues in terms of lack of consistency. And I think President Bouaga is at a crossroad. His administration is at a crossroad today. Given that the University of Liberia, the main campus of the University of Liberia, has been invaded by the Bouaga administration in a very brutal way, that puts his administration in direct confrontation with the most militant wing of the youthful population in Liberia. And for me, that's an issue to look at. Consistency on the part of leadership anywhere in the world is important. Words matter. If you don't keep your words, people don't respect you. The invasion of the university, Bouaga need to address that tomorrow morning, forthwith. At the press conference, he should talk on that. The second thing I want to remind the Bouaga administration on is the issue of the war crime and one economic crimes code. There is video out there consistent with the campaign message, consistent with his statement during the inauguration, that he was committed to that. Now, there are indications that he's wavering from that position. That would show a lack of consistency. And that will undermine his credibility to the population. And that will undermine his development agenda. That's not a good sign. His advisors need to sit around the table to look at that. Follow to that, and I will close on this. It's a total issue. The total issue is this administration is beginning to show also lack of consistency. Appointments have been made, and the legal advisor to the president spoke to the nation on that. Now I hear they are constituting a committee to look at that. If it bites off on that, it shows also lack of will, lack of courage. And I think those three key issues, the invasion of the university, the unprovoked attack on the student, the backtracking on the war crime issue, and the backtracking on the tunnel issue, those are issues of lack of consistency. I think the president should be careful on that.
Yeah, two quick things for me to close quickly. And from what Ben came from, what I would say here clearly, I disagree. The president will have to. Now, in terms of our foreign policy bureaucracy, that's what the constitution of our country gave the presidential power to conduct our foreign policy, right? The constitution gave the president exclusive power to do that. So the president will have to move to engage with a member of the committee of the warrior, the international community, to do that for us. There are certain, and as he said, the ambassador or the foreign minister, Ben, Mr. Chairman, let me respectfully disagree with that. The foreign minister is limited in terms of attending certain meetings. That you understand very
I know that.
right? So if we want to do that, we're going to need the country. The foreign minister is
going on the field, man.
Yeah, the foreign minister of the Republic of Liberia is limited to only attending ministerial council of ministers meetings. You wouldn't attend the head of state's president meeting, right? It is quite frank that we need to understand this process. I agree, but the president will have to attend to those functions and help bring our country back as a member of the Committee of Nations. There are major and pivotal security process discussed in those meetings, for instance. So we will have to do that. Remember, we do pay our due. The president reminded us during his message to the legislature that we owe a lot of money to all of those international organizations, the rest of them. We pay our due. We need to attend those things, and we have to benefit from the proceed coming off from those meetings. So it's important that we all come together collectively to know this process. Two major meetings ahead of the meeting, the AU meetings and the ECOWAS meeting. It's very important that we be part of the next one coming. I hope the next major meeting, global meeting that we part of those multilateral institutions is the next one coming up. Going to be, I think the spring will be the April. That's the final minister coming to Washington, D.C. But quickly, the United Nations meeting coming up. I will hope the president, the 79th General Assembly meeting coming up in September. I will hope this year that the president will be part of that and represent our country. Article 57 of the Constitution gives the president the authority to conduct the foreign affairs for our country.
But he can also delegate.
Yes, no, this is the president.
But he can delegate.
He can delegate, but that's a limitation there.
He can delegate.
That's a limitation in the delegation process. That's a limitation. Thank you.
He close already. He close already, Lofa.
Tomalin, whatever you got against me today, we'll talk about it.
No, I forgot. I told you what you're speaking. I'm sorry. Close. I'm sorry.
Somebody want to make one quick announcement after Lofa. One quick announcement.
No. Go ahead. Your announcement always important. Go before me.
Well, it's I just wanted to our dear brother Toiwa Harris to express our condolences to him. He lost his brother yesterday in Maryland, so we want to keep Toiwa in our prayer. He's been on the show here a couple of times.
Yes, Toiwa Spencer.
Our deepest condolences to him. That's all.
Yeah, Lofa, please, just 2 seconds. Again,
No.
2 seconds, Lofa. I beg you, brother. I beg you, Lofa. 2 seconds.
All right, go ahead. 2 seconds.
Just to remember.
2 seconds over.
To remember the Council Socrates Nimla, the former ASU president, we lost in this weekend. Yes, just to also that. Thank you, Lofa. Yes,
former ASU president.
Yeah, Socrates, Francis Socrates Nimla, we lost him. So rest in peace. Thank you, Lofa.
No problem. Anybody else want 2 seconds? All right.
No, we're good.
No, I want 2 seconds too.
No, let me address. Let me start with Ben Sanvee and the level of sarcasm that I'm sensing from Ben. For the sake of our listening audience, let me be honest with you guys, right? Ben is simply trying to say to all of you here, you were warned against that decision.
On the show, why are you speaking for me?
Hey, Ben, can I please get my closing?
All right.
Ben is simply trying to say to you guys, you were warned against the decision. The issue of Honorable Boykai's age was highlighted. You ignore it. His health, you ignore all of those things that were brought to you. You were stubborn, and you even made the comment that no matter his health status, you will still vote him into office at your own detriment. So at this point, Ben is making mockery of you based on the decision that you made to say you knew better, but you chose to keep yourself in this state.
Lofa, you
The
damn
reason why
good, man.
the reason why I'm saying this to you is this, right? And I'm gonna read forbidden what is written, okay, on ECOWAS website. The main goal of ECOWAS is to promote economic cooperation amongst member states in order to raise living standard and promote economic development. If you were to look around you today, can you say there's no reason for Honorable Boycott to attend such an event or meeting to network? Will you say because we have employed so many people where our employment rate, if you were to do your own assessment, I can probably say to you, our employment rate is probably maybe unemployment, I should say. Unemployment, probably 80% of the population is unemployed.
90.
80. There you go. 90. Thank you, Dr. Peabody. 90% of our population is unemployed.
No, Lofa, stop that. I can't sit here as a statistician and allow you to say that.
Okay, so what is what is the unemployment rate, sir?
In fact, so
we gotta
No. Since in the room, let me help me out.
About 90%.
Dr. Peabody, hold on. Dr. Peabody, let a statistician help us understand. What is the unemployment rate, sir?
Because we're closing and don't have to talk on this, just go and Google unemployment rate in Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana. It's very low. In developing countries, unemployment rate is usually low. And in it will be less than 10%. I can tell you that.
You cannot say that. I can challenge anybody and the basis on which.
Look, I don't take it from me. Go Google it.
No, I will Google.
Okay, unemployment is less than 10%.
The labor survey that I participated in the last time, part of that labor survey, and it's around the same. They're talking about
90% of the population.
Let me tell you this. The reason unemployment rate is low in developing countries is people cannot afford economically active population cannot afford not to be economically active because you know what? There is no safety net for you. You wake up in the morning, you look at your kids, you don't have a job. You either go pick some bitter ball or you put your hammer on your bike, you go work for somebody for low income, right? Low income there.
Our unemployment rate is 2.26%.
As a job.
The unemployment rate is 2.2%. What determines
flat statistics?
Once you earn money, that's
a scam statistic.
You guys look, okay. It's almost like Kelabu telling me, okay, it's okay. Let me go to Firestone and work for 50 cents a day.
That's
then okay. You see,
if you selling the rebar, if you selling things, that's job.
I think at this point, to be honest with you, I would vehemently disagree with you. I would disagree with you on the fact that we have caved into this whole Western idea of enslaving our people because we want to buy into what they feel we should sell to our population. That status that you just gave me, that stats is inaccurate. If you went to in the market today, it's inaccurate.
Lofa Julius, no statistics.
Okay.
That's false and misleading.
Let me close on this note, right? The president's refusal to attend these various meetings tell us nothing. That and again, it says to us, as a matter of fact, the decision you made, you would live with it for 6 years. And Honorable Boycott would sit comfortably. As a matter of fact, every time you go to protest, you would say, no good work today. You go back to sleep. He already want to go to work, and then you can't protest. The minute he noticed too many people, you saw it with the AFL women. The minute everybody came out, he said, in fact, no good work today. We're not having no army inspection. I'm going back to bed. He went right back to bed. So you voted for what you are getting today. And this is where we find ourselves. We should learn from this and we should make the best decision going forward. Nothing is
all those, just for the record, all what Lofa said about me represent his thoughts. It doesn't represent me. Just so you
I just read this from
those were his thoughts.
From a seasoned diplomat, the guy, he said, considering that he is unable to attend continental and regional meetings in his first morning, is worrisome.
Who's that?
Or diplomat is saying this.
Why is
it continental regional foreign policy?
No, Tom,
don't man.
It's worrisome. It's worrisome.
The president is
saying Ben is actually worrisome. We should be
guys, again, like I said,
Ben is being sarcastic.
The president, I will encourage the president to even attend session by Zoom if he have to.
See, no, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Ben, let me tell you something. Ben, so
no for 6 years to end.
Ben, Zoom parents.
I'm gonna the kids gotta go. We got
guys. It'd be a great time.
I mean, that is considered remote appearance, so we consider that.
I'm gonna
Ben, can you call me, please?
Yeah, I will.
Don't forget to call me if you have the time. If you don't call me, please.
I'll call
you. I will call you, Kabu. I just know. I'll call you.